Oh my god. Hello everyone. I'm gonna pop on. Oh, not that one. Not that one. This one. Hello everyone. How's everyone doing today? Ooh, why am I glowing? Is it because of that? I'm like glowing weird. Is there like grease on the lens? That's better. I'm less glowy now. Hello everyone. How's everyone doing? Also, how does everyone like the new hair? Also, how does everyone like the Star Trek uniform? Hello everyone. I hope everyone's doing good. Let me turn down the creepy PlayStation background music for I don't know why the PlayStation music is like so oddly creepy. It's just like wow. it's just very odd. It's odd music. Hello everyone. It's good to see you all. It's nice to see everyone. Sorry I haven't streamed as much lately. Let's see. Lewis, heart to you. Julius, Langley, the Chaos Pope, Psychic Refugee, Anthony, Rick, Nora, Aronok. Aronok, good to see you, by the way. If you want to come on stream, you're welcome to, but if you don't want to, that's totally cool. But I'd love to have you here, Aronok. Andrew, thank you so much, girl. You look right? I look like Kira. I didn't even like intend to look like Kira. I was kind of going for like a shortcut Nurse Chapel look because I want to do Nurse Chapel cosplay at Star Trek Las Vegas if I get the chance to go later this year. And hopefully it'll grow out because Nurse Chapel has a little bit longer hair than this. But then people are like, no, you look like Kira. And I'm like, oh my God, yes, I am here for the Kira Nerys hair. I am here for the Kira Nerys hair. So yeah, I love this. And it's nice because it's short hair. One of the things that I've been like thinking about lately is how much I don't hate long hair, but I haven't loved long hair, and I also find it kind of an annoyance to like take care of and style and get right. I've always kind of liked shorter hair, but the problem is that like I grew out my hair long because when I started coming out as trans like years ago, and because it was like a way to signify me being feminine, right? And so people would be less likely to misgender me or at least see me as a trans person and not like as a dude. But now that I've been out for so long, also having boobs and facial harmonization surgery helps. But even beyond that, like I feel confident in my identity as a woman that I don't need to like have this thing to like prove to others what I need to do. So I decided, screw it, I'm gonna get short hair. And that's not a judgment on anyone with long hair. It's like, oh, you need long hair to be feminine. But it's just been something I've been like thinking about a lot lately. About like, I don't know, I'm just more comfortable like this, and I don't want to have my body fit how I want others to like do this thing that makes me uncomfortable so that others will perceive me the way that I want to be, because I'm confident enough in my identity. So I think I just like, I just like having the short hair, and I think it looks cool, and it just makes me happy, and it just sort of like, it felt like a cool moment of like knowing who I am when the person cut it off the other day, because I was like, yeah, you know what? Because he was asking me, he's like, do you want me to do this? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And it was just, it felt really kind of nice. So I was feeling good. And I also kind of need it because it's been, I'm not going to go into details to everybody, but it's just been I won't go into details, but it's been a rough couple weeks. I'll be frank. It's been not great. And the video I have coming out tomorrow will go into some of the details of it. So check out that video. And I'm actually really very proud of that video, and I hope people hear the message of what the video is about. But I'm going to be frank. Some of the stuff that I talk about in that video, it's been rough. So that all being said, I just want to let you all know that I appreciate you all, and that I am so glad to have you and have this community. I just want to let everyone know that it's meant a lot to me to just see that despite all the crap going on in the world right now, that there's so many good and kind people, and sent me really nice and wonderful messages, just randomly, you're not even dealing with anything. So I just want to let you all know that it really means a lot to me to just see you all here. And I'm never going to talk about discourse and drama because I don't want to deal with it, but I just want to let you know that solidarity and pushing forward and being about making community and caring with other people, I think is what matters the most to me. So I just want to let you all know that you all mean a lot to me. All right, that being said, Aronok said that she is going to possibly come on so we can hang out with Aronok, but I am so excited. Oh, wait, okay. Before we're gonna be playing. Also, I'm gonna get drunk. I'm gonna be playing this for a while. I'm gonna try and play a lot of Star Trek Resurgence. So I'm gonna be playing this for like like an hour or two, possibly longer. We'll see how long I go for it. But I'm gonna have some beer. I just want to chill, have fun with y'all. But before we do that, and while we're waiting on Aronok. Oh, Kurtrats! Oh, it's good to see you. Everyone should go listen to speaking of positive and like Star Trek. Kurtrats, I haven't seen you here in a while. But if you're all Trekkies and Star Trek fans, Kurtrats Productions, who is in the chat right now, he is the host of this wonderful podcast called Positively Treks, which I have been on several times, and it is one of the sweetest podcasts that I love listening to each and every week bi-weekly, however long they get it out. Because it is a podcast that is about talking about the positive. It's exactly the kind of ethos that I like to bring, right? It's about talking about positives and community and caring. It's not about like, this thing sucks. It's about hopefully talking about Star Trek. And it's one of my favorite podcasts. So Kurtrats, I send you love, my friend, and everyone. If you're looking for a good Star Trek podcast, Positively Treks is one of my two favorite Star Trek podcasts. Positively Treks and Women at Warp. Easily the two best podcasts you could be listening to if you're a Star Trek fan. And many more. There's like many more, like Black Alert Pod as well and things like that. But but specifically, I adore Positively Treks quite a lot. Anywho, before we get started, one thing that I want to do is I just need to gush at you all for a second about Star Trek Lower Decks being in Strange New Worlds. And then we're going to play a Star Trek game, and I'll bring Aronok on. But before we do that, I just need to see, let me make sure I'm going to not screw this up, but I haven't had, like, a chance to, like, because I've been dealing with stuff, I haven't had a chance to, like, publicly gush about how much I love Star Trek. So I just need to, like, I'm going to put this up so you can see it. I just need to gush. I'm going to try and do this very carefully so I don't get, like, the stream taken down. But I just need to react with you all again. Aronok, I'll bring you on after I show everyone the Strange New Worlds thing, and then I'll have you on. I just want to do this, and then I can set up for you, and then we can start playing the game. But I'm just making sure I can do the little react thing. But I've already seen this trailer a billion times, so this isn't my first reaction, but I'm just going to show it to all of you with you. All right, let's see. Let's do this. Star Trek Strange New Worlds. All right, let me just switch over so you can see what I'm doing. Transition. All right, here we are. All right, sorry. I'm not going to watch the whole thing because if I do, this stream will probably get copyright struck or anything. Bellamy, it's good to see you. Mwah! And Miranda, by the way, it's good to see you as well. Mwah! Good to see you all. Mwah, 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 mwah. Love you all. But anyways, I just want to share the one part that, like, the whole trailer just had me. I'm so freaking excited. I'm so freaking excited for Strange New World Season 2. Like, and also, I'll just be honest, literally right when I started the stream, I got the email for the first 6 episodes. So they just sent me the first 6 episodes. I can't talk about them because I haven't seen them, number one. Number two, that I'd probably get in trouble, but they just sent me the first 6 episodes, which doesn't include the Strange New World, the Lower Decks one, which I said, but I'm going to be able to watch them this weekend. So I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped. But anyways, wait, can we just like look at this? Wait, let's just look at this little bit. Remember, look at my little Spock. Look at my Spock. He's just so. Ethan Peck. I just wanna like hold his face. Also, we're getting Kirk in this season, and the Trekkie fandom is not ready for the renewed Kirk/Spock fan fiction. Like the renewed interest in Kirk/Spock fiction, like shipping. We are in for a new wave of it. It started in the 60s with William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy. It came back in 2009 with Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto. There was a whole thing on Tumblr. I remember. Jesse Gender remembers. And now we're going to get it again? We're going to get it again. And I'm just, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for it. Anyways, let's just watch this because, like, I just giggled so much at this.
You live long and prosper.
Not double speed. I listen to my videos double speed. Let me make sure I'm not doing that. Here we go. All right, we're just gonna watch this little bit.
Live long and prosper, Mr. Boimler.
You also live and.
I love it so much. Jack Quaid's just adorable face and just like having such a Boimler moment because he's freaking like I just love that the trailer. It's just like a funny little bit for anyone who doesn't know Lower Decks.
The announcement of Star
Trek. If you know Lower Decks, you know that like moment where he's like meeting Spock and he's like freaking out. That's just such a Boimler moment where he's like, "Oh my God, my hero just said live long and prosper at me." Like it just makes me so happy, and like that they're just nailing the characterization of the Lower Decks characters, and Jack Quaid and Tawny Newsome get to play them in live action. Like look at them, look at their beautiful faces. I adore these two human beings with all of my heart. Like both the characters and like the people who play them. Like y'all. Like, Jack Quaid and Tawny Newsome are, like, the most beautiful, amazing, wonderful human beings in the world, and I adore them with all of my heart, and I just want to give them all hugs over and over and over again, even though I've been lucky enough to actually give them hugs in real life. I love them. They're both beautiful human beings, and I'm just so excited to see them in live action. This makes me very happy, everybody. Anyways, shut up, Vera. I don't need you to tell me to breathe, all right? I'm just very excited. I'm so psyched for this episode. Anyways, that's Star Trek Lower Decks in Strange Worlds. I just had to gush about that. Let's go over. We're going to play some Resurgence, and we'll have some fun with this. Let me also bring in Aeronach real quick. Aeronach. Let me see. You're in a call, right? Let's see. All right. Video call. I just gotta get this set up so you can actually see Aeronach.
Hey.
Hey, you are. I want to make sure you know you're on. There you are. You're in the window. Hello. All right, let me make sure I got up. Audience.
Hearing myself. Ow. Is my volume okay?
That's what I'm testing right now. Can you speak a little bit?
Hi, Jessie. I finished a bunch of shots for a Star Wars video.
Yes, I'm so excited.
If you want to see them.
I do. We'll see them after. I just want to actually start playing the game in a bit, but let me know. Is everyone's because I want to see them, but I also don't want to break the freaking screen.
Yeah.
But I will see them tonight. Let me know.
I'll show them later. I finished the X-Wing and TIE Fighter shot, you know the one.
I know.
And then a lot of the other ones were just like setup shots. Like I need to go through and I'll edit them in DaVinci Resolve because it's a lot of just like simple stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But
by the way, I don't know if you can see. Oh, you can't see this.
A lot of progress made.
You can't see this because my bottle opener is a Destiny bottle opener, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah,
I'm jealous.
You have to look
okay, show it on the
I am showing it on the
stream. Oh, cool. That's awesome.
All right. I'm so pumped. Thank you for being on with me. We're gonna play some Star Trek. I gotta figure out. I wish I could figure out how to get used to also hear it. That's my problem. Let's see. Let me see if I can get it. Let's see. Share.
Yeah. My main role here is I'm gonna monitor the chat for you. So.
I got you. No, I know. But
yeah.
Let's see if I can. This should be able to get you to. Whoop! I want to make sure you can actually. Where'd you go? There you are. That should be able to get you to hear it. It's hard to hear me. Everyone says. Okay, let me boost up my audio. Yeah, everyone, let me know how the audio comes out sounding, because I can boost myself and boost everybody, so I can get Jesse's me a little louder. Ba 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 ba. Before we start the game, I want to make sure we're all set. All right. So everyone, let me know if I need to adjust my voice, Aeronach's voice, anyone's voice during gameplay and everything, and I can play with it a little bit and make sure I get everything adjusted correctly. I'm also gonna adjust this and put this here. There we go. Also, my hair. Oof, let me fix the hair. That angle's less flattering. There we go. There we are. I haven't seen the Barbie trailer yet, B. Parker. I've heard good things. I'm actually I'm like weirdly excited for the Barbie trailer, honestly.
I'm really excited for that film. I think it's gonna be really interesting, and I do think that just from everything we've heard about it and stuff, that it's
gonna be an interesting. I hope they like use it as like a good moment to like have a commentary on stuff. Also, let me turn off. Sorry, I'm making sure everything's good before we get started on the game. All right, that's probably just so I'm not like blown out. Look like a ghost. Because now my white balance is all off with my hair, because it like frames my face weirdly now. All right. You're fantastic, Bellamy. You're fantastic. You can, Bellamy, I adore you. All right. Cheers, everyone. Let's play some Star Trek. I'm so excited. Don't take that out of context, Bellamy. Oh, God. Oh, God. All right. I'm so freaking pumped for a new Star Trek game. And again, chat, let me know if I need to adjust anything.
I'm pumped for you that you're getting to have this Star Trek game to play. Yeah.
It's been a while since we've had a good one. Like, the last... Because, like, there was the Star Trek 2009 game, which it was buggy as all hell. I don't think it's as bad as everyone says it is, but it was not great. But then there was, like, the VR one. I think
people were kind of primed to dislike that one a little bit.
Yeah, I think so, too.
I'm just going to be eating food for the first little bit.
You're all good. And, like, there was the VR one as well. Oh, it has been a long road, Crispy 887. It's been a long... Don't get... I will do it. It's been a long road, getting from there to here. Sorry, I'll sing the whole... Long time, but my time is finally here. I will... Are you gonna make me sing the whole thing? I will do it. Touch the sky, and they're not gonna hold me down no more. No, they're not gonna change my mind, 'cause I've got faith of the heart. Going where my heart will take me. I will belt this song, Aronach.
I know you will.
It's the best. It's the best. All right. All right. So can everyone hear the game right before we get going?
Yeah, I can hear it.
All right, cool. Sweet. All right, let's play. I'm also gonna be weirded out by like Spock in this because I know they have someone else playing Leonard Nimoy in this, which is, I mean, obviously.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild. Oh, in case anyone actually is curious about the beer, it's a breakfast stout. Is what I'm drinking because I know people like to know that. It's a very good breakfast stout, actually. So. Also, I should probably adjust this camera so it's better. Asteroids.
Hey, Soul Bunny. Lovely to see you.
Good to see you.
Be sure to go watch Soul Bunny's most recent video.
So this is the best single-player Trek video game. Probably, my assumption would be Elite Force 2.
Log, stardate 57931.4.
I think it's Elite Force 2 would probably be the best. Also, sorry,
The crew is restless. After spending too many months piecing our ship back together, finally about to venture out on a new mission.
Do it, Soul Bunny. Do it.
And the crew isn't letting this unprecedented ion storm slow them down.
Unprecedented ion storms are unprecedented.
They're ready for something different. I know I am. Perhaps more than any of them. Fortunately, nothing ever stays the same. It's entropy, the nature of the universe. Change is inevitable. And while entropy says order gives way to chaos, in this case, change is good.
Change is a good thing. We like change. Change is scary, but it is good.
Our new first officer is en route to the Resolute. Jara Rydek. I know she'll bring a welcome dose of new blood to the crew.
She's got a face ridge. Everyone likes a good face ridge. That's how you know they're aliens, you see. Hey, birthday fruitcake. Good to see you. Oh, grab the pad. Pad did I do like that they're called pad did.
No problem.
I'm not great with flying.
They're called padded it is?
Wait, you didn't know this? You didn't know this? They're called, like, the iPads that they use in Star Trek universe are called pads, but with 2 Ds. It's like, it stands for something, it's like personal something display or whatever, but so I think it's funny just to call them pad.
I've never read the word, so I wouldn't have known that, no.
It's called, they're pad-didas. I just like selling the pad-didas. Alright, sorry. I'm also gonna put on, subtitles for folks, because I need subtitles too.
These little shuttles? are the word.
Here's a tip. Don't close
You
your
hate
eyes.
flying and you're in Starfleet? Who are
You'd think
you,
that would make
boy?
it easier, but it only makes it worse. Look out the window, pick a star, and just focus on that.
I'll give it a try.
That made him feel better. Aww. That's an awkward smile if I ever saw one.
Sorry, I'm a little anxious.
I hadn't noticed.
I'm on my way to my first assignment. When we get to the starbase, I'm transferring on to the Resolute.
So am I.
Yeah, we're gonna be.
It won't be easy for Jara to step in at the 11th hour like this. But if she's half the officer I knew she could become
we gonna
when she
do a
was
handsome
cadet
lady
at
shot?
Starfleet Academy, she'll be the XO this ship needs right now.
I hope we do a handsome lady shot here.
We love it. Handsome lady shot.
We do love a handsome lady. Just a little. Who doesn't love a little starship? Oh, there's an Excelsior class. Is that? Oh, that's the Equinox class. I don't know if it's called the Equinox class, but the Equinox is what they're going to. That ship right there on the screen. That looks like an Equinox.
That does look like one.
I forget what class of
that
ship
one
that is
that's
called.
flying by right now.
Yeah. Game is loud. I can turn it down a little bit. Let me know if I need to adjust any more, everybody. I can also up my own voice and Aeronauts' voice a little bit too. Alright. I'm walking. Examine livery. Is that what that's called? Is it called a livery?
Starbase on the very edge of Federation space.
Yeah, it's a word.
Long way from home
I
now.
never knew that that's what that was. Why would it be called a livery?
You've activated my linguistics interest. I am going to go find out.
I kind of know. Also, this is cool. Like, I'm actually walking around a starbase. This is pretty bomb. This is pretty bomb. Also, this music is pretty solid, too. I am here for this music.
Commander? I'm not usually such a nervous wreck, by the way. I actually did well at the Academy.
Sure
Oh,
you
yeah?
did, huh?
Maybe you've heard of the Torvalin test?
Sounds
Are you
familiar.
showing off, buddy?
It's a tactical simulator that makes the Kobayashi Maru look like a picnic on Pintaris 5. Anyway, I finished in the top 20.
You just being a little
Not
show
just
off.
in my class.
It's fine. I was a
I
little
mean,
nervous out there,
all
but I'm
time
cool.
In the
I'm
history
cool.
of the Academy. So,
I'll make him feel good.
there's that.
Really? That's quite impressive.
Thank you. It
Can I
was
just
tough.
be the jerk commander where
But,
I'm
you know,
like,
I set my mind
you
to
suck.
it and
How
it
dare
paid
you?
off.
just be the asshole.
I can't even imagine you being mean, Jesse. In that way.
No, I wouldn't.
Place your hand
By the
here.
way, I found out the
Hold it
meaning of the
there
word.
Yeah, what is it?
Okay. So livery comes from the French livre, meaning dispensed or handed over. Most often it indicate that the wearer of the livery was a servant, dependent, follower, or friend of the owner of the livery, or in the case of objects, that the object belonged to them.
Huh.
So livery just indicates it's something, yeah.
That
It's,
just like ownership of it, or like
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Interesting. I did not know that at all. You learn something. You learn something new.
A few seconds.
Apparently I'm very loud.
Oh yeah, I'm still trying to adjust with this. Let me play. If I turn down your volume a little bit, but then turn this up. Try and say something real quick. Sorry, you're eating. I know.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. The reason that it's a pain in the butt is that.
For context, chat, je parle français. I was in French immersion for like most of my life, so
Oh.
yeah, that's why my French pronunciation is good.
I'm
the one video essayist that isn't French that can actually pronounce it.
Do you want to know my French? You want to know my French?
Oh no.
Un, deux, trois, and we're done. That's it. That's about all the French that I can do. I can do a very offensive British accent. That's about all else I can do. All right, let's scan hand. Oh, is new? What's it? Chat.
Welcome, Commander Rydek.
Wait, you're Jara Rydek? You absolutely
Yeah,
crushed
I
the Torvalin
crushed
test.
the Torvalin test.
You You finished in what, like the top 3?
That would be me.
I just blew
Now
this
I'm
ensign's
really-
mind.
It's an honor to meet you, Commander. Sorry, I didn't realize before. I just came off the shuttle and was glad to be on solid ground.
The pleasure's mine, Ensign.
Paul Calloway.
Good to meet you.
I believe Commander Ermont is
Is my
expecting you.
British
He's in
accent
the
like a
concourse
podcaster's
just
Boston
ahead.
accent?
See you on the Resolute.
Like I said, I can do accents, but they end up just being offensive. Like, I like some clam chowder. No, I'm not gonna do it. No, never mind. That's a bad idea.
Alright, someone
Good day, Commander.
in chat said give us the accent, and I'm like, which accent do you mean? Can I say wee wee? I guess. Pourquoi?
Wait,
Very-
sorry.
very
I'm just
mature.
also blocking this from the hallway. Look at this. Like, nope, you're not going this way, my friend. Haha.
Commander, I have somewhere to go.
No. I order you to... Okay, he just gave up.
It's
He
chowder.
just gave up. He's like, all right, fuck it then. I don't care. I'll just stand here.
Okay, Emerson wants us to do the Boston accent.
Oh,
I
God.
can't do a good.
Yeah,
I can do it
Boston's one I can't
okay.
do. I can just do like a Marky Mark.
Boston.
That's like Boston.
Yeah, I can do a Marky Mark impression.
Yeah. You go clam chowder. Just go down.
Hey,
go
my
down
boy,
to
he's
Boston.
wicked smart.
It's
He's
wicked
wicked
sma-
smart.
it's
He's down in
it's wicked
Boston.
smart. Yeah, it's not my best one. I could do like British.
not my
better
best.
Or Aussie better. But that Boston, I can't really do super well. I'm also a beer in now, so that's not gonna help.
Boston's harder to
Boston.
copy than a lot of ones.
It's wicked awesome.
Wait, what anglophobic
If I remember
comments in the
rightly,
what? Also, what the fuck is
Commander
anglophobic? Wait, Sonny just unironically say anglophobic.
Wow, that's a weird. Sorry, this game is. That's a weird way of just stating that.
What?
The game just said, "Oh, the commander I'm looking for is bullying, so I'm looking for someone with blue skin." I'm like, okay. It's just a weird way of the game telling. Like, I know it's the game just prompting you to like look for the blue skin bullying character, but it's a weird way of stating that.
Definitely an odd
Starbase
way.
128 has 4 docks.
Look, it's a Tendi. Now that. Like, I love this Orion. Look at her. I love her. She's so cool. Oh my gosh.
Excuse me.
I love
I hear the
everybody.
Resolute's getting a new first officer. Someone from the crew got promoted. No, get this. They're from a different ship.
Welcome to the edge of the galaxy, Commander Rydek. I'm Commander Jan Ermont.
Liam O'Brien?
Officer on the Resurgence. Commander,
Vaxildon in the flesh.
I hope there
Sorry,
wasn't too
I had
much trouble
to.
getting
Yeah,
here.
you're good.
This storm isn't making anything easy for
I can
us
take
right
it.
now.
I can take a
I
bumpy
know
ride.
conditions are less than ideal at the moment.
It was perfectly fine. No trouble at all.
I'm glad to hear
It was no tribble at all. Sorry,
We're
I'm just gonna make
grateful
bad
you were
fun.
able to come
But,
fill our first officer vacancy at such short notice. From everything I've read and everything
What
I've
happened
heard,
to the
we're
last
lucky you
first
were
officer?
available to us.
Did I ask what happened to the last first officer?
Coming
Why
from
was there a
career
vacation
starship and all.
of the first officer?
To
Did he
our
die?
research vessel.
You can spare me the flattery, Mr. Ermont. I'm here to work.
Duly noted. I'll stick to the matter at hand.
Lewis, I'm sorry it's been exhausting. Sending you love, my friend. I'm doing better now. It's been a rough couple weeks, but I'm doing good now. So, thank you, Lewis, and I hope you're doing okay, too. Last first officer got stuck in the
The
floor.
USS Resolute.
There's our handsome lady shot. Look at
She
her.
may not look like much compared to the bigger ships, but as far as science vessels go, she can more than hold
She's
her own.
my ship. So she's a
And she doesn't look so bad,
She's just like
considering
the
6 months
Cerritos.
ago she was nearly cracked in half, venting
Not the
plasma
flagship,
fighting
but
for
she's
her
our
life.
flagship.
It was an accident?
The equipment malfunction. An accident suggests fault, but no one's to blame. It was a planned test, but the warp core was pushed beyond its limits.
I'm calling bullshit. I
It
bet
destabilized the dilithium,
first
there was a
officer
runaway
got-
reaction,
was
and the warp
murdered by
bubble
someone.
deformed. We thought we could reach a higher resonant frequency, but it was more than she could handle. Cost us our first officer and 22 of our crew.
You say that. I'm betting you.
At the end of the day, we're all
Maybe it
responsible
is
for
just
each
an
other.
actual act. Maybe it is just an actual accident.
That's what it means.
I
to
love
be
the
a crew.
Cerritos.
Oh, the Cerritos is
I just
great.
love the lower
I can't
decks
even
so
begin
much.
to
Lower decks
imagine
is the best.
what that must have been like for you.
Legitimately, I'm working on my Star Trek Deep Space Nine video right now. I've been writing it most of today, and talking about how it reframes otherness as like a show versus Next Generation, which like always cast like everyone else as other, whereas Deep Space Nine is a show about showing things from the perspective of the people who are seen as other, like Cisco himself, both as like a commander and like his perspective as a black man and different like things like that. And so like I was writing all of it. I'm like, but everything I'm writing about this show, just in terms of like top level stuff, is everything I could say about Lower Decks, which is like the same thing of like casting it as like the other from a different perspective, like recontextualizing Star Trek in a really cool way, which is why I think which is why I think Lower Decks and Deep Space Nine I think are my like two favorite Star Trek shows, because of like how it reframes that, I think, in a really cool way.
I'm so sorry for your loss.
That's awesome. I'm excited to work on that script
gonna
when
be
we
fun.
finish the
It's
Star Wars one.
way heavy.
It's annoying because I'm just like, I want to move on to these other things, but I also need to finish this thing.
Yeah, I get you.
But I'm excited for what's coming up.
Did
like
you lose anyone close to you?
I'm gonna try to get some smaller stuff out in the next little bit. I want to get this Undertale
I'll
video
just
done by the end of
say-
June.
I'm
You have big
I need
shoes
to play Undertale. I never played Undertale.
Listen,
Yeah.
I realize you've known Captain Solana for quite some time, and
I've
I'm
come
sure
to
you're
like
ready to bring your
realize
best.
like writing stuff like.
But I should warn you that when the captain announced
I really think that Deep Space Nine is my favorite Star Trek. Well, Lower Decks and Deep Space Nine are my two favorite Star Treks. I could fight for both of them. And then I used to say Enterprise is my favorite Star Trek, but I think it's just like it has a place in my heart because of it's where I came into Star Trek. But Deep Space Nine I think is the best one alongside Lower Decks. So
you would be the new first officer, there were those who felt it was a mistake. They should have promoted from within. So you might want to tread lightly at first,
oh boy, I have to.
until they come to value your contributions as much as he does.
Trust is earned, and it sounds like I have my work cut out for me. But I plan on winning them over.
I don't doubt that. I just figured it was better to know what you were walking into.
Gotta
Of
earn my
course.
trust.
I definitely agree with Where's My
Starfleet is assigned as
Jetpack
a
that
high
Strange New
priority
Worlds
mission
has
to
the
the
best
Baton
first
region.
season of any
Let
Trek.
the captain brief
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I love Strange New Worlds.
Like
I was
it's
eager to see you.
I think
mission
that
ready
Lower
in time?
Decks is a close
Yeah, that
second
means-
for best first season.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to be clear because that's a very low bar.
Yeah, I was even
It's a
writing.
very low bar. That like I would say it's like there's Strange New World season 1, Lower Decks season 1, everything else.
Big
Except
gap.
actually
I
no, TOS is up.
TOS has decent
decent.
stuff.
It's
Deep Space
decent.
Deep Space Nine, I'm writing since I was literally writing this in the script today. Deep Space Nine actually has a decent first season. It's not amazing, but the problem with Deep Space Nine's first season, and it's not and it's understandable, but the problem with Deep Space Nine's first season is that it's trying very hard to like differentiate itself from TNG. So there's a lot of episodes that are like, this is TNG but darker or different. And so it's like trying to like just cast itself as like something different from TNG, which is what the problem of the first season of Deep Space Nine is. It doesn't like find its own identity until season like 2 and 3 and even into 4 is where it really solidifies itself. But I will say Duet is one of the best episodes of any Star Trek series, and that is a Deep Space Nine first season episode. So
Which one's
one of
that?
the reasons that I love Strange New World so much as a first season, why I'm excited for season 2, is because like it's a show that like is willing to like play with it's a show that like is willing to play with identity very, very quickly and easily, where it's like there's like in that first season there's like 2 comedy episodes, a like really high-minded like Ursula K. Le Guin thought experiment episode, some like very serious like drama episodes, and it's like they really took the task of like, we need to do a Star Trek show that is episodic in the sense that like we can do anything with this sort of framework, in a really cool way, which is why I think it works well, because it is kind of like a fearlessness in terms of like the type of stories they can tell with it, as opposed to like some of the other Star Trek shows, like, well, we need to like do this certain type of thing. That's what Star Trek is. So I thought I think that's why I think Strange Worlds is really good.
Yeah, like I think Strange New Worlds just starts like it knows what it is. Like Discovery season 1, I know you have nicer opinions towards it. I have a vehement hatred for Discovery season 1. There is only one good episode. It is the time loop episode. The rest of the season is just plagued by terrible decisions on so many levels, and IMO, the abuse behind the camera, translates to storytelling within the front of the camera.
It's so I want to do one Strange New World.
But Discovery season 2 onwards, I love. I have issues with.
It's one of those like I want to do a review of the first season and second season at some point in the near future. Also, Kathleen, good to see you. But it's one of those like I want to re-watch season 1 of Discovery because I haven't really sat down and rewatched it episode by episode. Like I've caught bits and pieces again when I've been like editing things or discussing stuff, but I haven't like sat down and like watched it as a fan in a while. And so I want to like rewatch it with like knowing where it's going and what Discovery becomes, and sort of like having that understanding of it, because I think it would change a lot of my opinion on it. So I wanted, there's probably like a video in me. At the very least, I'm probably going to do like when there's like an off season for Star Trek shows and I need like some content on my secondary channel, I'll probably do reviews of each individual episode and then sort of like think about it as that. So. Oh, I love birthday fruit cake. I love Stargate. Stargate Atlantis, one of my favorite shows of all freaking time. And it's probably not for a long time, but I know Aronok and I want to do a Stargate Atlantis video at some point. But who knows when that'll happen. It just depends on time. So.
The crew has been working around the clock to get the ship ready. There's still so much to do.
All right. Should probably focus on playing the game a little bit. Oh, is this the other character getting played? Yeah! Hell yes. I hope they use a lower decker character.
Stuck. Okay,
I did do my hair, David. Let's see. On the plasma torch. Oh god, these are all generic.
I double muted myself. I thought I was unmuted and I wasn't.
Okay.
I was saying DS9 season 1. I love episodes in it. It is not a good season. It has good episodes occasionally. It's like if I was telling someone to watch Deep Space Nine for the first time, I would probably tell them to skip a fair number of season 1 episodes to get them into the show more, to hopefully get them to enjoy the show more.
One of the interesting ones is like is Dax, the episode Dax, because it's like in the first season, Terry Farrell is like told to like be this like aloof like mentor character, and she doesn't really have much of a personality for the entire first season. And Dax is so weird because it's like an episode about her, technically, but she doesn't like say anything. It's like Cisco like defending her on trial. It's such an interesting way to like think about like Jadzia Dax as a character. Like it was very clear that the writers didn't know what to do with her until Ira Stephen Bear sort of came and was like, oh, we're actually gonna make you like more of a roguish character. And that like actually gave her something to latch on to, because like Terry Farrell like constantly like discussed how like she like felt like, oh, I have to like play this like this big personality, but she didn't know like what it meant or like have anything to hook into as a character.
Yeah, totally. And Deep Space Nine, I just think, is plagued with they took rejected TNG scripts, and forced them to use those. And a lot of those are the worst episodes of season 1. Like, I know someone in chat said, am I the only one that likes Move Along Home? Potentially, yes. I've never heard anyone say anything nice about it.
Wait, this level is called the Lower Decks. Ah!
Oh, that's
I'm very
fun.
excited. I'm very excited. I'm sure. All right, I'm told. A Trill! There's a Trill with my haircut. Okay, I'm sorry. There's a Trill with a half-shaved haircut. Okay, this is my favorite character already. I already. Aronok,
Trans vibes. I know.
Aronok, I think I might not be okay.
Boss wants us down in engineering. Now.
Lower Decks Trill character with a half-shaved haircut. Like, is this me? Is this me? I think I'm just looking at myself. Oh my god. Alright, well, I'm moving. How do you run? Okay, let's see. Also, look at this shuttle bay. Look at this sexy shuttle bay. Look at you. Hi, you're a Starfleet officer. Isn't that cool? It's cool, right? Okay. Anyway, sorry. I'm being an idiot.
Come on.
It's probes. I can mess with probes, everyone. Okay, Kurtrad's Move Along Home is dumb. It's a bad episode, but it's a fun bad episode. Oh my god, I'm like lifting probes.
Harder, Diaz.
Oh, these are heavy when they look. Makes more sense than zero G. You're welcome.
Oh, that dude's just like, yeah, thanks for helping me lift stuff. It's like, I'm doing your manual labor for you.
And I can see myself.
Hurry up.
Did you know what?
Sometimes you need comrades' help.
Exactly. Hell yeah. No, I'm here for it. It's just kind of, it's just funny. It's just like, in the Starfleet future, we still have to do the heavy lifting. All right. Show me where I'm supposed to go, my friend.
I will say, I totally get people who have like a lot of nostalgia for that episode and things. I didn't watch Deep Space Nine as a kid. I watched it as a 22-year-old that does a lot of professional media analysis.
Yeah, that's
so like,
fair.
it's
Fair.
definitely coming from a specific perspective, 100%.
I will say, just to tell you my history with Move Along Home, I have a love of Move Along Home as an episode. Alan Moraine, 1, 2, it's a bad episode. It is a really bad episode. But that being said, my intersection with it was I, as a kid, I couldn't like have like seasons of Star Trek on DVD or whatever. So what I did is like, it was the time when you could like buy specific episodes on iTunes for like $2. And so like I would always like bug my mom to get me like iTunes gift cards or whatever so that I could like buy episodes on iTunes. And so I would only have like $15 to spend every here and there for like music mixed amongst like music and TV episodes. So one of the episodes that I bought was Move Along Home, and I didn't know what it was. I was like, oh, let's pick a random episode of Deep Space Nine to like buy so I can watch it. And so I bought Move Along Home. It was like one of like 3 Star Trek episodes that I could buy that I just watched over and over and over again on my crappy little iPod, like my iPod video or whatever. So like I almost know that episode front to back because of how many times I've watched it, and I just have a weird love of that episode because I've just like I guess it's like one of those like Stockholm syndromes. I've been stuck in a room with Move Along Home for so long that I end up loving it. But I think it's like a dumb
you have
episode.
a learned enjoyment of it, and you have a relationship with the art, because I think re-engaging with art deepens our understanding or meaning and relationship to. For me, my relationship was I'm watching through season 1 of Deep Space Nine and going, oh, through that episode. There's definitely laughs to be had, but none of them are intentional.
Oh yeah, no, not at all.
I'll say maybe intentional a little bit on the performances. Like the actors are rolling their eyes, and that is funny, and that is a purposeful choice by them. Like not necessarily to act the character well, but just to be like, oh, I have to do this.
Yeah. CNC97 said, for DS9 season 1 is a great for a cold trip, being ill and dozing in and out with Move Along Home, Duet, Kira, Forces, Farmers Offland, and the one with Rumpelstiltskin all become a fun jumble. Yeah, season 1 has, I forgot about that. There's that episode where it's like, yeah, farmers, you need to move off your land. That is a weird one. I forgot about that episode. And everyone remembers the Rumpelstiltskin episode, but there's two things about the sorry, I just keep pausing to like talk about Star Trek because we're playing Star Trek, but like, the 2 things with that Rumpelstiltskin episode that is really, really strange is like, one, that they originally wrote that episode to be, instead of Rumpelstiltskin, a leprechaun, and Cole Meany said, no, absolutely not. You are not doing more Irish stereotypes in this Star Trek show. I am putting my foot down, which good on Cole Meany, because yeah, Star Trek has, especially in TNG, has a weird like Irish stereotype thing that like not a lot of people have addressed, but it does, and Voyager actually has it too. So like weird Irish stereotypes in Star Trek. And then the second thing with that episode is that it's actually the episode where Sisko gets his baseball that becomes like the big symbol of the series. That it's like a weird thing that no one remembers, but like
You're right.
That episode is like
because the Magic Man gives him a physical baseball,
and that's the one he has for the rest of the series. So weirdly, the Rumpelstiltskin episode is the episode where like Cisco gets his.
That episode is weirdly important to Cisco.
Yeah,
it's so weirdly. Now that you bring that up,
yeah,
I don't hate that episode. I do like the choice to use Rumpelstiltskin and not a leprechaun.
Oh yeah, it's much better, especially since like.
Yeah,
Cole Meany's like, no, I'm not comfortable with that. So
yeah, as an Irish, I'm like, let's not.
Yeah,
because
as someone of Welsh descent, I definitely understand that.
Yeah, a lot of those weird like stereotypes and things definitely got used against me as a kid, which is a weird thing to say. It feels so ludicrous, but that did happen.
Yeah, exactly. Someone just said we need Cole Meany to avoid Fairhaven. Yeah, I don't like Fairhaven on Voyager.
Cyber said, I forget who, but there's a specific producer to blame for the Irish stuff. And I just want to say, if I had to make a guess, maybe I'm being a little mean to Berman.
It's actually not Berman.
It's not Berman.
It's not.
Oh.
This was
which one?
I'm trying to remember I think it was. Well, because it comes back in Voyager, and Voyager.
I'm always ready to shit on Berman.
No, it's oh god, we're just ranting about Star Trek. Fuck Rick. To be very clear, fuck Rick Berman. Rick Berman's awful. But it wasn't. That wasn't Berman. Up the Long Ladder. I want to say it was who is the showrunner in season 2 of TNG? I forget his name. Because where the Irish stereotypes start is in season 2 of TNG. Which is with the episode Up the Long Ladder, which is a really offensive, like, super stereotypical, like, Irish stereotype episode. That's where that begins, and I believe it was pushed by... that episode was written by Maurice... Was it Maurice Hurley? That's
Maurice
Hurley, yeah.
The showrunner for season 2.
I think it was, like, Maurice Hurley that, like, kind of perpetuated it, but it came back in Star Trek Voyager with like Fairhaven and stuff. So it's like no lessons were learned. And Fairhaven is better than Up the Long Ladder, but it's still like trades in Irish stereotypes to do a lot of what it does. I don't hate Fairhaven as much as other people do because I think there's some interesting stuff it says about Janeway, but I have to divorce that from like it uses a lot of Irish stereotypes to tell that interesting stuff about Janeway. So Sean Piper, heart to you. Thank you so much for the Taco Bell fund or spoiling you. I will spoil it on Newt because I haven't ordered Taco Bell in a while. I'm surprised people will remember that still. And thank you so much, Sean. You are amazing. You make the world better. And thank you for being here. I adore you. Yeah, everyone Rick Berman sucks, but Maurice Hurley also was a very problematic dude that like stoked a lot of the toxic atmosphere in the second season of TNG, because season 1 of TNG was like Gene Roddenberry was in control, and he also had his issues when running that season. That was like my way, the highway. We sort of like have to do it this way. And he pushed out a lot of people like David Gerald and other folks. But then like Gene Roddenberry had to take a step back for health reasons, and also there was a lot going on. So Maurice Hurley came in, and Maurice Hurley like there's a lot of stuff you could say about him, but he had this like very antagonistic way of like building his writer's room. And it kind of like spilled out into seasons 3 and 4, where then you start to get Michael Piller, who really righted the ship. And Michael Piller is freaking amazing. Love Michael Piller, but even he was like still trying to like fix like a broken puzzle throughout the rest of the time. And like and to Michael Piller's credit, he's the one who hired fought for Ira Stephen Bear to do Deep Space Nine. So when Ira Stephen Bear took over in season 3 of Deep Space Nine, so Michael Piller could do Voyager, that's when like the show really like took off, because Michael Piller fought for Ira, because he's like, Ira does not like Star Trek, but he will write Star Trek in a way that like pushes it in a really cool way. So like Michael Piller was this cool figure where he's like, he understood what Star Trek was, but also and knew how to write for it, but also knew how to like push it in cool, or like at least put people in the right positions to be the ones to like push it in ways that even he couldn't. So like Michael Piller, like Rick Berman, like Star Trek thrived in spite of Rick Berman. Star Trek thrived because of Michael Piller. So like I really love Michael Piller quite a lot. So sorry, I ranted at you. This is me. Welcome to me writing an essay on stream and not playing.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good.
So, all right, back to the game. We should play.
I just hope whatever Chovak called us down for, it's something good.
I can never tell with him. I'd rather not end up degaussing plasma manifolds. Hanging upside down makes me queasy.
You and me working together, we can tackle anything he throws at us.
Your optimism is positively contagious.
Oh, I like this Diaz character. He's fun.
Looks like we got here before.
Lieutenant Commander Chobak.
We were just looking for you,
Vulcan.
Commander.
Oh my god, it's a
Petty
Vulcan
Officers
chief
Ed
engineer.
Solar. Diaz. I was
That
beginning
was
to
such a
think you would be
judgy
late.
Diaz.
We are all hands on deck right now, which means if you are not at your post at the appointed time, I do not have someone
Such
to
a judgy.
replace you.
God, this Vulcan is so
Point
judgy.
I have been forced to make to Petty Officer Edsolar on repeated occasions.
I'll play to his ego.
Apologies for the delay, Commander.
I'm not
I
gonna.
do
I'm
not
not
want
gonna.
your apologies.
I'm not gonna
Simply see to it
make
that
the
it does not
commander
happen
angry.
again.
I could do little digs at him, but no.
So, I don't suppose you wanted us down here to check in before we go off duty?
Equip yourselves in EV suits to work on the exterior of the hull. I need you to tune the structural integrity field for optimal performance. The subspace distortions and ionic interference
I kind of
we are
hope that this
experiencing are
game
preventing the
is
proper
just me doing
calibration.
menial
This
tasks
ship
on a
must
star.
be
Like,
ready
there's
to
no
depart
story.
shortly,
It's just like, go
despite the
clean the
story.
hull. I
The
kind of
precise
would be
nature
down
of these
for that
disturbances are
game.
not fully understood. But many systems have been affected by the wide band of emissive activity.
Whatever it throws at us, we'll be ready. We've got the best chief engineer in the fleet.
Aww.
I am a Vulcan, Mr. Diaz.
Diaz is like, oh.
Flattery is not necessary.
But you are,
All that I
though.
require is that you do your job. Right now, that entails critical
Come
preparations
on, Mr.
because
Vulcan.
long-range
I
sensors
wanna.
show that these
Like, Vulcan
disturbances
just like,
will
I
be
don't
more
require
severe
fire.
at
It's
our
like, I was trying to be
destination,
nice.
the Hotari system. You have your orders. Do not delay.
Yes,
Roger
Commander
that.
Chobak.
Interesting. I kind of like if this, like, his story is like
All
having
hands
to
on deck.
learn how to like work with a Vulcan.
What's that?
All hands on deck.
Boss.
That's
That's
what
kinda
Chobak said. You know what that means? It means this ship isn't ready to go out and the brass know it. So they're throwing every warm body at it. And they're going to leave on schedule. Consequences be damned.
It all comes down to us, Nelly. We're the ones who get it ready.
I know what we can do. But this isn't just any old refit or any old
I love
relaunch.
the idea. I love that the idea here is that like Starfleet's trying to shove them out and go out too quickly.
A lot of new faces coming on board. It's gotta be tough
And like
coming
having
as
that
a
work fall down on the lower
replacement.
deckers.
That's for sure.
They seem all right. Something that happened 6 months ago while they were off on another ship? Well, that's nothing to hold against them.
Yeah, you're right. I guess getting a little new blood on board doesn't hurt. Hold on. Now there's an old face I didn't expect to see again. Hey, Miranda!
You weren't gonna leave without me, were you?
Oh,
Miranda,
oh, we got some. Oh, little
We
friend
thought you were
group.
staying on the Adirondack.
Transfer came in at the last minute, so I figured I'd slum it on this bucket of bolts. Looks like you got her back together pretty nicely. I wasn't sure what to expect.
I'm gonna take the high road here, pretend you didn't say that, and welcome you aboard.
He's a better diplomat than I am.
Yeah, screw you. Don't
He
insult
still
my
owes me a
shit,
bottle of
Miranda. But
sodium brandy.
again, I'm
Don't think I
playing
Oh,
Diaz
yeah,
as
it's
like
coming back to me now.
hyper positive.
Maybe Carter can rustle
Like,
up
he's
that
gonna be
bottle
my
and we
Tendy.
can give you a proper welcome.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
As soon as we wrap up this quick little spacewalk.
Here, let me help you.
Thanks.
So what's the word? Are you back in the security rotation?
Yep. Still running with the usual suspects.
Whoa.
Good to go.
The trouble with troubles.
See you on the other side.
Activating magnetic souls.
Let's do it. Oh, I'm going Oh, I'm doing the spacewalky thing. Oh, I love this so much. Everything about this is everything I want from Star Trek. I just want to do menial tasks in the Star Trek world.
That view never gets old.
Let's go.
That is lovely. Knick-knack room, otherwise known as the captain's ready room.
Captain Solano should be here momentarily.
It does look like Night Cafe art a little bit. Alright. The knick-knack room. Let's see, what knick-knacks does the captain have?
You'll have to forgive me, I don't know much about Kobleods. But my understanding is you need a steady supply of duridium to keep your cell structure stabilized, or bad things start to happen.
I'm sure that's not going to be,
and we have plenty of duridium in sickbay, so there's no risk of running out.
Thank you.
Feel free to make yourself at home.
Chekhov's
And
duridium,
help yourself
duridium
to
need.
whatever you like from the replicator.
That's a weird biological thing. Just need like a weird specific element to exist on a Starship.
Yeah, it's kind of odd.
Yeah. Let me see the captain's knickknacks. I don't know much about Kobleods. I forgot. They said they're in Deep Space Nine and Voyager. I actually don't know that. Where are they from, Langley? Do you know? I don't know, actually. Model train. Okay, he's a train lover.
He's still got a thing for trains. The warp engines of their day, apparently.
That's cute.
Okay, well, Kobleods have been in, like, 5 episodes ever.
Gotcha.
They're the Kobleod achieved the ability to conduct interstellar travel by mid 22nd century and were first observed by humans on Risa in 2152. Apparently,
myself.
That's from Enterprise. In 2 days and in 2 nights.
Yeah, which is the weirdly transphobic episode of Star Trek Enterprise.
Oh, that one.
Yeah. That's the one where they go to Risa and like there's like a moment where like Trip and Connor, not Connor Trenier is what I was thinking. Trip and Reed are like trying to hit on women. It's like, oh, I don't think that one's a she. And I'm like, oh, fun, yay, huzzah.
Yeah, and they were in a couple of episodes of DS9.
And Conthesis, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. Anyway, so you're saying.
Okay, there was a Kobleod in the Next Generation episode Preemptive Strike, apparently. And in the episode Rules of Acquisition.
Interesting. Because Preemptive Strike is the one where Rogue.
I know where Kobleods are. I'm reading through this. Do you remember the one where there's the like security officer that's going after Rao Vantika, and Vantika like the Kobleod security officer captured him, right? And then like the transport gets on fire when they're near DS9, and he like transfers his life force into Julian.
Oh, right. That's a season 1 episode, isn't it? That's the one where it's like the evil, like the Julian, like,
the passenger,
is like the evil side.
The passenger. Yeah.
That's a weird episode.
Rao is a cow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but that whole stuff about the need for duridium and stuff. That's from that episode.
Okay.
That's where they first really.
That is a deep cut, because that episode is weird, because that's the one where Bashir's like taken over by the serial killer or whatever, and it's just really weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Episode. Now I remember that. Now I remember that character in that episode and what they are.
Star Trek has a weird thing where it's in its first seasons, because it doesn't know how to characterize a lot of its characters yet. It does episodes where it's like, what if the characters are suddenly inhabited by weird personality changing things, so they can like write the characters without like having to like figure out what their personalities are.
Has a kick.
Like Star Trek, the original series, did that with A Naked Time. The Next Generation did that with A Naked Now. Deep Space Nine did it twice, because there's that episode where like all of the characters like forced like taken over and like forced to like fight each other, that Odo has to save them, but then also the Bashir episode too. So it's like a weird thing that Star Trek does where it's like, we haven't figured out the characters yet. So we're going to do a weird, like, everyone's possessed. So we don't have to write their characters as their characters yet, which is kind of fun.
All right, Last time I saw you, it was graduation from the academy. You'd already secured one of the most prestigious
I love
assignments
this guy's
possible.
chin.
And you were burning with enough ambition to fuel 7 trips around the Necrid Expand.
It's good to see you again,
This man
Captain.
has the most chiseled jaw I've ever seen in my life, and I love it.
The regret is that we couldn't provide you with a warmer welcome. The arrival of a first officer to her new ship deserves a bit of fanfare.
That would be
Fine, I don't need fanfare.
totally
I'm just here to do a
unnecessary.
job.
I don't need any pomp and circumstance.
You've been here all of 5 minutes, and already you're trying to make us more efficient. I like it. As I'm sure you've heard.
He does. Oh my God, Langley, he does look like
these last 6
Stanley,
months.
doesn't he?
The ship suffered some damage. But not
And
nearly
he's
as much
running
as
an
the crew.
Excelsior. He's running an Excelsior class ship. That's hilarious.
I heard that you had an equipment malfunction.
Is that what they're calling it? No, that's...
Ooh, interesting. Sorry. Stay Hum 10 says, "Hey J and A, in my opinion, Return of the Jedi is the best of the original trilogy. What's your favorite OG Star Wars film?" Mine is probably A New Hope, just because like I don't know. I know it's like the hero's journey sort of stuff, but I kind of like a lot of what it does and like a lot of the things that it says. Like Empire Strikes Back, I think is objectively probably the best one. Objectively, quote unquote, is probably the best one, but I have an affinity for A New Hope.
Someone being generous. If anything, it was a leadership
Oh, you're
malfunction.
muted. You're muted, Aaron. Now.
We were on the verge of a major
Oops.
scientific breakthrough.
I jump back and
Leap
forth
forward
between
warp core
A New Hope
technology.
and Empire
10,000
Strikes Back.
paradigms per second.
The
ability to travel at a
I
sustained...
hate to disappoint. I think Return of the Jedi is kind of bad.
I don't hate Return of the Jedi.
I
but
don't
Again,
hate
that might
it.
be also nostalgia.
I love segments of it, but it's a messy film. It's like there's just so many pacing issues with it, and it was always my least favorite one to watch through when I was a kid out of the first 6 films.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Like I genuinely think that Revenge of the Sith is better than Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, but it's and just to be clear, Stay on 10, like we always support people's like
Yeah, I want to be clear. This is very much a personal thing. It's not a judgment thing. That's why I said I'm sorry to disappoint, because it's not a judgment on your personal feelings about a work of art. It's a expression of my own feelings.
But I do like a lot of like elements of Return of the Jedi that I think are fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of great scenes, but it's kind of a mess of a film. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah,
and faster than we ever dreamed. What would have been the crowning achievement of my career? Right there, within our grasp. Till it all went so horribly wrong. We pushed her too hard, and a warp core malfunction overloaded the system, creating a pressure gradient way beyond what the ship can handle. It was heartbreaking. We lost some of our best people. As captain, I have to take full responsibility. It was my decision to make, and I have to live with the consequences.
You're being too hard on yourself. It wasn't your fault.
It's not a question of blame. It's about responsibility. No matter what the circumstances.
Oh.
In my defense, I will say...
Pause for a second.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. The start of Return of the Jedi is the part that I like.
Oh, see, I like this. Me too.
I and then I feel like the film meanders for a while, trying to like. It's like, bang, interesting start. Oh, I guess we're at an ending now. Like, I don't know.
I actually like the opening too.
So I find that so interesting because I guess And I want to be clear, very much not a judgment of other people's experiences. I just find it interesting when I have a very different experience with the work than someone else. Like Stay Hobb was saying, the start of Jedi is a bit rough, and I find it interesting that we have just such an opposite experience. But I think that's kind of beautiful, and it really shows like how much
Yeah, no, I think
we
that's
all
really
have our
cool.
own experiences and perceptions of art, and
No,
that
that's
should be
cool.
celebrated, not hated.
That's wonderful, actually. I adore that. Well, because it means like every part of something gets love, and that's awesome. And so that's really cool. Anyways,
This
sorry.
is true, Emrys. Attack the Clones is a bad movie, but it's also the one with the most of Timura Morrison. So
so we can't hate it either.
It's like I can't bring myself to really hate Boba Fett as a show, even though it's a messy show, and I probably could re-edit it into a good show if I was given the time.
Yeah, there's a good movie in there, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a good 4-episode run I could make out of. If someone let me re-edit Boba Fett, I could make a good show from it. I could genuinely believe that. I've had this conversation with Ben from Canada before, but like. The main issue with Boba Fett is its macro editing. Like, it is the most bafflingly edited show on a macro level.
Yep. It is cool because it's just like, let's just like stop the forward momentum of our story to like go tell a backstory thing, and then we'll like divert to like the Mandalorian for a while. Like it constantly stops.
Here's how you fix it. Here's how you fix it. One, like what you're trying to do, what the show should be, is this sort of like space western, everybody comes together at the end for this big thing. Really, I mean, unless you were to like without changing anything, I'm just re-editing. Here's what you do. You take the 2 Mando episodes, you split them apart, and you put them thematically adjacent to moments within Mando's within Boba's stories. You also do the same thing with Boba's stories. You're basically telling a series of stories that all build together to an endpoint, and then the endpoint just plays out the way it did.
Yeah, no, I could re-edit so many different things like that. The things like Boba Fett is not the one that I would do, but if I could re-edit 2 things, the 2 things I would re-edit would be Pacific Rim, and then also Solo, a Star Wars story, if we're talking Star Wars
Pacific Rim?
I adore Pacific Rim. My only problem with Pacific Rim, and this is my weird thing with it. I think Pacific Rim is freaking fantastic. The movie should start with Mako Mori's backstory, where she meets why am I blanking on his name? The character's name.
It's the most ridiculous name ever.
Idris Elba's character. Here's my thing. Is the movie, as it starts now as you start with the brothers, and then you learn Mako Mori's backstory later. My thing is I would just swap those two
Stacker
around.
Pentecost.
That's
Sorry,
right.
I just remembered. Stacker Pentecost.
We are canceling the apocalypse. It's great. And Sarah and Hejumandra, I will answer your questions just hand. Thank you so much for your super chats. I adore you both. But anyways, I would flip those two, because what that would do is, if you start the movie off with Mako Mori's backstory, which he meets Pentecost, is that story is told from perspective of a little child, and so you make the monsters seem like much scarier and less defeatable. So it like kind of gives you like this awe of them and like how terrifying they are. And then you don't really know the main character all that well for a little bit, and he's like why he's sort of like reticent to drift with Mako. And then you get his backstory in the middle, and you learn, oh, he is reticent to drift with Mako because of his own trauma and backstory with his brother having died during this fight, and like what he's suffering from there. And so like I kind of like that swap, because it's sort of like, number one, it has you identify more with Mako as the main character, which, you know, I like the lead character of Pacific Rim, but I like identifying with, like, you know, Mako more. And then also sort of like reframes the perspective a little bit of the monsters, and then also sort of has like a cool reveal for the backstory of the main character. So, and also Pacific Rim Uprising, not a great movie, but also it's like one of those movies, like if it had 2 or 3 more drafts, I think there's a great movie in there. I have fun with Pacific Rim Uprising. I also love how gay Johnny Boyega is in that film. He is very gay in that movie. So.
That film is the gayest straight film ever made.
Most definitely. Like, that's the best way to describe Pacific Rim Uprising, the gayest straight film ever made. And you could even say Pacific Rim 2 with Charlie Day and why am I blanking on the other actor's name? Bern Gorman. Charlie Day and Bern Gorman, also super gay in that film.
The difference is that they're playing it gay on purpose.
Oh yeah.
So while the writers wouldn't let them have it, it's big like Garrick and Bashir energy.
Oh, 100%. Oh my god.
So Chad, I just shared a video by Lady Knight the Brave on the queerness of Pacific Rim, which I helped out with. But yeah, I will die on the hill that Uprising is a good film.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an amazing film. Yeah, it's a flawed film, but it's good and it is fun. And it's far more enjoyable than a lot of mainstream blockbusters are.
Mm-hmm.
And I will take that out any day. And yeah, it's got its issues, but Lady Night covers all this stuff. It's good. Yeah.
Lady Night, I mean, Lady Night doesn't make a bad video, so I love that video too. Still, my favorite is her SG1 video, and also her recent Andor video is fantastic.
Yes.
Too, so.
Sarah said fave Trek film.
That's right. Yeah, you go, because people know mine. I think.
You go first.
Mine is Undiscovered Country. I will also fight for. I actually really like Star Trek Beyond and Star Trek First Contact quite a bit, but Undiscovered Country I think is my favorite one just because it's a good send off of the cast. I think it has the most political and Trekkian message about like coming together and like seeing each other through differences. It's also about like a character overcoming his own trauma and bigotry that stems out of that trauma with Kirk. And also you get Klingon pink blood. Who doesn't love pink Klingon blood? That's just a lot of fun. So yeah, I think probably Undiscovered Country is my favorite. Though I would toss into the mix Star Trek Beyond and First Contact is like also ones that I really love. So
well, mine's Beyond. Beyond is the best Star Trek film.
Beyond is great. I love Beyond.
It's like it's not even a competition. I'm sorry to the rest of Star Trek, but Beyond is just a far more competent film.
Yeah, well, I love Scotty's like message, and it was like, I forget, it's like we're sticks in a bundle. It's like you can't break a stick in a bundle or whatever. Like I love that little speech that he did.
Like all of it. I'm gonna do a video at some point about Star Trek Beyond and why I think it's the best Trek film. This is the thing that I've had in my mind, and I've talked to you about this before. But like I'm also gonna argue that Star Trek Beyond has the best needle drop.
Oh yeah, because it's emotionally resonant. Yeah,
because it's thematically relevant.
Yeah,
it's character arc relevant. It is one of the most coherent uses of a needle drop in any film because it tells you so much about where this character is at and where these characters are at after this trilogy of films, and it is such a phenomenal sequel to 09, and I think it kind of elevates that film indirectly.
Yes.
Like, to come off of Into Darkness, which is a trash fire.
Can I give a quick rant about Star Trek Into Darkness?
Yes, yeah.
Star Trek Into Darkness, I've already given my pitch about it should have had it should not have been Khan, it should have been oh my god, why am I blanking on Star Trek's Kirk's friend from I've had a beer, now I don't remember. Oh God, why am I blanking? Gary Mitchell. It should not have been Khan. Should have been Gary Mitchell. I've already done that pitch. There's a whole rant I could give about why that would make that better. If it was not Khan, it was Gary Mitchell. If Cumberbatch was playing Gary Mitchell. That being said, I will say Into Darkness, my big problem with Into Darkness is it doesn't mean anything because the characters start and end in the exact same place, and the final scene of Into Darkness is like the same exact final scene of 2009. So the characters don't change at any point during the course of that film. So they just sort of like end in the same place, which is why I'm just like, really, if you think of my big problem with Star Trek Beyond, my only issue with Star Trek Beyond, because I think Star Trek Beyond is fantastic, my only problem with Beyond is that Kirk starts off a little too jaded for where his character should be, and that is only because it feels like a second film, because the actual second film, Into Darkness, is so inconsequential. Like, Kirk being a little bit jaded at the beginning of Beyond would have made sense if Star Trek Into Darkness had actually been, like, meaningful and pushed the character forward in a little way. But because Beyond has this weird thing of, like, having to be a third film, but also, like, technically really feeling more like a good second film in a trilogy, I feel like that's the kind of the one major hiccup with Beyond. Honestly, if Beyond had been like...
Which isn't
It's not
issue with
Beyond's.
Beyond.
Yeah, it's not Beyond's
It's not an
fault.
issue with Beyond. It's an issue with Into Darkness.
Mm-hmm.
I think Beyond just like genuinely what I'd recommend is if you want to watch that series, just watch 09 and Beyond.
Mm-hmm.
Back to back.
Oh, I agree. That's my thing.
Like that, you will have a better experience, in my opinion. But yeah, I think Beyond is such a phenomenal like turnaround for a series, and I fucking wish we got a fourth film. And the reason why Beyond is so good, IMO, like huge part of it, isn't just the performances, that's absolutely a huge amount of it. It isn't just the direction, which is phenomenal, and I do think that like, Beyond director, my brain is having a moment.
Oh, that was Justin Lin.
Yeah, Justin Lin. Which I think Justin Lin is a really good director.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think he's a really skilled director, and you just need to give him the right script. But even in the messy scripts of Fast and Furious, he still does such interesting things with them as a director. So I think really what it comes down to is that Beyond's, like Star Trek Beyond's script is just so damn good, and it understands Trek, but it also understands film, and that's because really, like, Simon Pegg is just a phenomenal writer. Like, people always talk about how amazing Edgar Wright is, and I don't think that Simon Pegg gets the recognition he deserves for why the Cornetto trilogy is as good as it is. And I think that, frankly, some of Edgar Wright's work without Pegg shows that. Yeah. I think Pegg is the stronger writer. And it, yeah.
I agree.
I
agree.
think
Beyond, and someone just said that Beyond gets everything right but the villain. I will actually argue that what I like about Beyond, I don't think Idris Elba's character is the best villain in all of Star Trek. I would probably place it as someone like, Khan or someone like that. I'd have to sit and think about it. But what I do like about Beyond's villain with Idris Elba is that his character is much more interesting on a second watch, because, spoiler for the movie, you learn that his character is actually a human, and you think the whole movie that he's an alien, and he starts talking about like, well, I want the Federation is weak because it's not fighting enough, and I come from a planet where we grew up in war, and we're always fighting each other, and that made us strong. And then at the end of the movie, you realize he's actually human, and he's a human from before the Federation was founded. And so he's just this guy. He's a human being who just is like, I grew up in like closer to modern day, and is like, oh, I only saw things in terms of like fighting and fighting back, and that's what makes us strong. And not understanding that like it's solidarity and community and caring that is what makes the Federation so powerful and what makes it so great. Which goes to like Simon Pegg's speech in that movie where it says you can't break a stick in a bundle, which is like about like how like the Star Trek crew is stronger when they're coming together, and the whole film is about separating them and about how they all wish to like come together and see each other and understand each other. And so when you rewatch that film with the understanding of like Idris Elba's character is a human being who just like just wishes to like constantly create conflict, it like makes it a much stronger commentary on not only Star Trek and like how humanity has like grown in Star Trek, but also about like human beings generally. Like I think there's a really interesting like subtle political message within that on a second viewing of that film, which is I think like a credit to it that it like makes it stronger on second watches.
Yeah, and I think it's like when people say like, oh, the villain's not that good, it's like because the film isn't about the villain. Like the villain is serving the exact purpose it's meant to, with a clear intent and meaning and place within the thematic tapestry of the film, with a really strong performance. I think
Idris Elba doesn't give a bad performance. So
no, I mean he never does. He's Idris Elba, but like I think like yeah, he's a little hindered by the
prosthetics,
but he's still like scene stealing at times, and he still makes me feel something at the very end when he dies. Like, oh, spoilers.
Oh no, you ruined Star Trek Beyond. Go watch. If y'all haven't watched
Star Trek Beyond. Also, just just I'm so gay for Sophia Botella's character.
Oh yeah, 100%. She's great, and
she's incredible.
Part of the reason that I want there to be a fourth Star Trek film is I want that character to come back because we need more of that character. She got a little more to do in the comic books, which are great, but that's about it.
I'd love for her to be the helmsman character because obviously.
Yeah, Chekhov passed. Anton Yelkin died.
Chekhov passed, and which is, but yeah, and then someone else asked best Star Trek, Hyolmandra Kanathara. I'm so sorry, I'm butchering your name.
Best Star Trek Enterprise.
Best Star Trek Enterprise design.
NX-01.
Interesting. I need to go look. I need to go before I make a strong decision. I need to go look at them all again because there's so many different Enterprise designs.
Here's my thing. I understand people like the Constitution and the Constitution refit. That's the classic Enterprise look. I get that. B is just the Excelsior with a little bit of like just changing it on it. C is just a weird Enterprise D. Enterprise D, I understand people's affinity for it. For me, it just looks weird. It just looks top heavy. It looks like it's gonna fall over in space. So I just knock it over. Enterprise E, I think, is sleek and sexy. I am here for the Enterprise E a lot, which is my second favorite. But I still think the NX-01 from Star Trek Enterprise is the coolest Enterprise design. I love the NX-01. It's why I have 3 models of the NX-01 because I really like it. But the E is probably my second favorite. So.
Yeah,
and then there's also the
NX-01
technically, but if you want to go that far, but
yeah, the NX-01 is a really fun ship. Obviously the D holds like a really special place in my heart. It's hard for me to choose one over the others. I do think that the C just looks like a chunky, wonky D. Yeah. Like you know what I mean? Like it's.
Is there anyone out there who loves the Enterprise J, though? The miles-long, stupid one?
I forgot. I always forget about the J.
You need to look at the Enterprise J, because they made that in a day. It was a design, because it's from an episode of Enterprise where Archer gets sent into the future. So I have not even playing the Star Trek game. I need to go back to that at some point. But Archer gets... I have a model of the Enterprise J over there because I actually really love it because of how dumb it is. But they did an episode where they wrote a sequence where Archer gets sent to the future.
It's so ugly!
It's so bad!
It's so
and
bad!
the best thing... Can you type in, if you're looking it up, look up scale, Enterprise J in scale with the other Enterprises. It is miles long.
It's so big.
Right? It's miles long. It could eat all the other Enterprises for breakfast.
Most of the other Enterprises could just fit inside of the warp nacelle connectors, let alone the saucer. I just sent you the photo of all of them compared.
Oh, I know, I've seen it. Believe me,
so
the thing is, they made it in a day because they had to do an episode where it was Archer gets sent to the future, and they're like, "Oh, we're setting it on the J," and so the guy, I forget who designed it, but he, I think maybe Doug Drexler, I forget exactly who, but he had to be like, crap, well, I guess we have to design a whole new Enterprise right now because they're filming it tomorrow. So they had to design a whole Enterprise J thing in a day or whatever. It was a few days or something like that. But it's just that's what happens when you design. It's yeah, we're gonna have to design an Enterprise in 3 days or whatever. It's hilarious and I love it. So. Discovery would be my favorite show if they simply decanonize the J. They won't, though. They won't decanonize the J because it's set after when the J happened. So if they ever do another you see another Enterprise in the Discovery era, that would be I think it's 200 or 300.
Here's the thing. So. I feel like Discovery could decanonize Enterprise J pretty easily because of the Time War nonsense.
Yeah, it could be the Time War screwed us stuff, and the Enterprise J was just some weird, wacky dream of some Time War shenanigans.
And we all pretend like it never happened.
Look, I have an Enterprise J model on my shelf over there. I will fight for the Enterprise J and all of its stupidity. It is the dumbest Enterprise.
It's gloriously bad. it's magnificently silly. Truly an accomplishment in even just the shapes are wrong. The shapes are wrong. Why is it an oval and why is the oval not like this?
Yeah.
It's it's like chunky in the wrong places, but thin in the wrong places at the same. It's everything is wrong about it.
But everything is so right, Aerodog. It's so right.
And I can touch the sky.
And the night gonna hold me down no more. All right, I should probably. I'm gonna go. While you sing that, I'm gonna go get another beer, and I'm actually gonna sit. We've been chatting. I should actually play this.
Yeah,
game.
you should play.
All right, I'll be right back. Oh yeah, Star Trek has its own time war, and it gets wild if you read the nonfiction stuff, my friend.
Technically, Trek's time war predates Doctor Who's. So yeah, because Trek's time war is from the early 2000s, and Doctor Who's time war is a 2006 onwards thing, if I remember correctly. So yeah, arguably.
Right,
arguably.
Wow. Chat, I adore that you two of you, like Christopher and Homo Solarian, you're singing Faith of the Heart, and I get back. You two are my favorite. I adore you both. All right. If I was I think I also missed a super chat real quick. Let me make sure I didn't. Oh, Chloe, you said, and there's another one right here. Chloe, you said, glad I no longer work for Target. They are run by cowards. I'm assuming you're referring to the fact that Target has like pushed Pride stuff off into like the back or like stopped it altogether due to like right-wing pushback. I'm not going to get fully into it. I actually just shot a video earlier this week that will touch upon that stuff. That'll come out later on in June. But yeah, no, screw Target. I mean, I'm not, one of those things is like, number one, their Pride stuff sucks, and number two, it's corporate Pride. So it's like, of course, it's very
who
performative.
fuck corporate Pride?
Yeah, we knew it was performative. They're just trying to get more money from queer people. They haven't. Yeah,
I mean this lovingly, but if you care about corporate Pride,
I mean, I'll take their money if they're giving money, but I won't.
I'll take their money and I'll use it to actually do something meaningful, or at least just survive. But like, yeah, no. Target's Pride was never something they actually had any meaningful support of. And of course, the millisecond they received any sort of pushback, they were like, whoops, fuck your community. Because they never cared.
Yeah, they never. They
wanted
were
to profit.
They wanted to try and find a new way of making money from another group of people that they thought was safe to make money from, because like there wasn't going to be any pushback to supporting queer people. So like 100%. Oh, barely interesting. That is. Oh. Thank you so much for your super chat. You are incredibly nice. That is incredibly
Gwendolyn
kind.
Christie vibes. Oh, I love that.
I love that. I'm here for Gwendolyn Christie vibes. Thank you so much, my friend. I love Gwendolyn Christie vibes, even though I wish her character, had gotten more to do in Star Wars, even though the character is, like, evil. I would have been interested in her. But she is great. I love Gwendolyn Christie. I'm thinking of the right person. Have you seen Sandman?
Yes, she's a great Lucifer. She's a great Lucifer.
Fantastic as Lucifer. I love her as Lucifer. That's such the casting of Sandman on point. I don't think there's anyone badly cast in that. Like casting John Constantine, but as why am I blanking on it? Clara from Doctor Who. Why am I blanking on her name?
Yeah. Casting Femme Constantine because of the rights issues was a really smart idea.
It's a smart idea, and also I kind of hear like Femme Constantine, I'm actually like super down for. I also think like
the implication that Joanna Constantine,
Jenna Coleman, thank you.
Yeah, Jenna Coleman's Joanna Constantine could be easily read as trans because of all of that.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
I choose. I choose to believe that.
And also, H. Juman, I'm mispronouncing you now, but you said you didn't mispronounce my name. There's no wrong way to say my name. Oh, thank you, because there's no correct pronunciation. It's phonetic spelling of a sneeze.
It looks like a name. It looks like a name is the issue. So I'm like, I've never heard of this name before. I can't even tell what language it's supposed to come from.
Well, now that I know that I can't mispronounce it, Hujalmandra Kanathara? Yes.
I think it should be pronounced like. All
right, anyways, I should probably get back to playing some Star Trek, but
yeah, play some actual Star Trek. Talk with me less.
Get out of here.
There was a lot of pushback from my former XO, and I think that cost me his confidence. I don't want you to pull any punches. Certainly not on my account.
All right, so call you out
Once
when
we
you do some
decide
shit.
on the
Got
course
it.
of action, I need everyone to fully commit to the mission. Anything short of that just won't work.
All right,
And
if
that's
you're
when
if you're
things start
asking me,
to go
I will call you
sideways.
out on your bullshit, Captain. If you
Whether
do
I
bullshit.
agree or disagree, I can promise that I'll be honest to a fault.
Good. That's exactly what I'm looking for.
He's gonna be
But
the
at the end
captain
of the
who's like,
day,
oh,
it
how
has to
dare
be
you call?
my
He's
call.
gonna regret
Look,
this later on.
I'll be blunt.
I see all the arcs being
We
set
can't
up.
afford another mistake. Or at least I can't. I feel like my career is hanging in the balance here. We need a win. Something to restore the crew's confidence.
I understand.
On a more positive note, Starfleet has tasked us with what they're calling a mission of the highest priority.
We need a win, so let's do this
Escorting a
highly
senior
dangerous
diplomat to
mission, right?
Hatari
Right
space.
off the top.
Two previously peaceful and otherwise non-aggressive civilizations now find themselves on the brink of all-out war.
Starfleet negotiating peace.
So it's a peacekeeping mission.
I see it as a golden opportunity to not only prove what the Resolute and her crew are truly capable of, but also a mission for which we're uniquely qualified. This ionic storm. Our long-range sensors suggested several orders of magnitude stronger than anything on record. A total anomaly like nothing we've seen before. And you'll never guess where it leads.
Right where you're going?
Hatari.
Yeah.
Exactly. Very nearly in the precise location where we're headed.
What a
Where I
coincidence!
imagine the interference will be exponentially greater. But the diplomat will brief us on the details of
The
the
diplomat
rendezvous.
Spock.
These
Who is
seem
the
completely
senior diplomat we're
disparate,
escorting?
not connected at all.
not at all. I'm
Starfleet
sure they will
hasn't
have
said.
no connection
But I
whatsoever.
don't want to get ahead of myself. I expect we'll
Yeah, the
have
Nexus.
some rough sledding when we arrive, so I need you to prepare the crew for the worst. There's just one more thing I want to clarify up front. The metric that for me will be the ultimate measure of your success.
Oh.
What is it?
If after serving as my first officer, you don't one day find yourself with a ship of your own, then I will consider it my personal failure.
That's very sweet.
When that might happen is entirely up to you. But it goes without saying.
I like
You
this
have my
chiseled
full
jawed
support.
weird little
Yeah,
man.
he seems really nice.
Thank you. But I feel like I still have so much to learn.
You'll have plenty of opportunity. And if you're willing to put in the work, I'll do everything in my power to help you along the way.
I still
Come.
like thinking of it as Captain
Let me
Stanley.
introduce you
Whoever
to
in
the
chat said that is hilarious.
Canonically now known as Captain Stanley.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he literally had. This is an Excelsior class ship. It looked. Oh, I guess it's not. There is an Excelsior class ship on this starbase, so I thought this is an Excelsior class ship. But oh, look at how sexy these little doors are. Look at the bridge. It's got the wood. Oh, it's got the sexy wood paneling. Every starship should have wood paneling. So when I will say, Enterprise D may not be my favorite starship design. I do love the Enterprise D's bridge design the best.
Everyone, if I could have your attention for a moment. I'd like to introduce Commander Jara Rydek, our new first officer.
Oh, Captain J.K. Simmons, I could see that too, Jubilee.
Some quick introductions. This is Lieutenant Handar,
You
our
look like
helmsman.
you look like a
Best of the
cocky.
business.
Oh, he's a Bajoran.
One of.
Well, what he lacks in humility
I would say you look cocky.
more than makes up for in ability.
I
pleasure
sense
meeting you,
cockiness from you, my friend.
Likewise.
Next, we have Commander Westbrook, our Chief Science Officer. I've come to rely on his expert counsel on a regular basis.
Pleasure.
Commander Rydek, it is such an
I
honor to
love
meet
that.
you.
This is our tactical officer, Lieutenant Bedrosian. Been
Bedrosian.
looking forward to meeting
More
you
like
for about as
Captain
long as I can remember.
Bedhead.
I've been following your career for
Sorry.
quite some time. And I look forward to learning as much as I can from you.
That's very kind of you to say. I'm happy to be here.
Well, I have to admit, one of the reasons
I did see the
followed
trailer
your
for Mortal
career
Kombat
is
1. I'm
because
excited. I
you're
like the
part
Mortal
Kodiak,
Kombat games quite a lot.
because of what you've
Mortal Kombat
overcome.
gaming.
Starfleet stands up for people
I would have
who
liked
can't defend
Injustice 3
themselves.
more, but oh, that's what are you gonna do?
We're one
I
of
do
those
hope we get
people.
what they rumored, the Homelander and Peacemaker
But
DLC,
since
because I
then,
would
you've
love
done
to have
so much to
punch
protect others who
Homelander
need
in the face as
I really
Peacemaker.
admire that. So, you've been something of an inspiration to me. Not that I've done anything close to what you've done, but you definitely set a standard to strive for.
That's very kind of you to say, but enough
Gonna
about
stop
me.
with the flattery. I
We
don't
have a
need
lot
that.
of work to do.
Oh, yes, of course.
And then, of course, you've already met Commander Ermont. Please, do everything you can to make Commander Rydek feel at home here. I'll be on the starbase. I have an urgent meeting with the
I'll be on the
starbase
starbase.
commander to get our authorization to get underway. If they drag their feet any longer... The bridge is yours.
That was a weird audio glitch. Oh, I get to sit in the captain's chair, knock.
Captain time.
The captain time. I also like.
Number one.
I always like. I
Number
always
one.
want to like punch a view screen, like just to, like go up to like poke a view screen or whatever. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So it's like why. It is weird that like there's a if you ever read the Star Trek New Frontier books, there's a scene in the New Frontier books where Captain Calhoun like is facing off against. There's a captain in that series is Captain Calhoun, and he's facing off against Picard, and he like they're like about to fight, and Calhoun like targets the bridge because the bridge is at the very top of the starship. He's like, yeah, we're gonna fire everything at your bridge. I don't understand why Starfleet like constantly decides to put their bridge as like the weakest, most vulnerable point on the entire starship. Like it seems like a dumb idea.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's great. So yeah, you should. If anyone hasn't read it, the New Frontier Star Trek novels are like the best Star Trek novels. And just because Peter David wrote them, and Peter David is a really fun writer because he's really thoughtful and does like really cool stuff, but he also is like a very funny person. So like a lot of the Star Trek books are very funny. Also, the first Star Trek book series to actually feature like a character that didn't use he or she pronouns. There's a character called the Burgoyne who is non-binary and uses, and none of the characters like have any issue with using different pronouns in that book series. So it's really, really good. So. And also, if you watch Star Trek, Prodigy, so this is me being a Star Trek nerd. Rok-Tahk's character is a Burgoyne, who is a species that comes directly from Star Trek New Frontier. So it influenced like Star Trek, like actual official canon Star Trek. All right, bridge time. Captain time, I mean.
Commander, Chief Engineer Chovak needs to lower the structural integrity field. He sent a crew out to recalibrate the emitters in response to the danger posed by the storm. We just need your go-ahead.
Oh, I can grant
Permission granted.
Lowering
I
structural
love that this game
integrity
is just like
field
the first part of this game is just like, you get to do Star Trek shit, like grant permission for like stuff, or go out on the bridge and like fix things. It's just kind of funny that the first part of this game is just like, yeah, do random Star Trek nonsense.
The storm is getting worse.
Looks like they turned off the Sif.
Great. Let's get to that emitter.
Right cars, thank you, Langley. I appreciate you. Welcome to me being 2 beers in. I'm gonna mispronounce weird Star Trek characters from the novel series. Oh my god, this is so cool. I'm like outside of a nacelle. Oh my god, Aerodon, look at this.
Every time we're out here, I half expect to see her in pieces again.
She's still got some scars on her.
I'm just actually like really kind of in awe right now that like there's like the nacelle.
When I joined
and
Starfleet, all I wanted was a ride out of town. But this isn't exactly how I pictured it.
On the outside of the ship?
No. Sometimes it feels like we're just part of the machinery.
Oh, interesting.
Don't you want more than that?
I'm actually questioning
I mean,
being Lower Decks.
Starfleet is noble and all, but it's still a machine. A massive, massive machine.
Interesting.
I am more than that. And so are you.
Oh, I love this Lower
You wanted
Decks
to get
character
away.
calling out like Starfleet is a machine.
I enlisted because I didn't want to wait years just to get
That's
out
actually
and see
super
the
interesting.
galaxy.
I love that.
I wanted to go somewhere, see new worlds, look up at a sky no one's ever seen before. Just because I'm cranking a hyperspanner up in a Jeffries tube today doesn't mean that's all I'll ever be.
And if that's all you want to be, that's okay too.
Diaz to Commander Chovak. We are at the Sif emitter.
Acknowledged. You may proceed with the recalibration.
Interesting. I'm curious to see what this story is going to say about Starfleet. Because I think there's like some interesting like things it's already started to say about Starfleet so far.
Beginning recalibration.
I hope this game is.
Careful. Too much action and harmonics will deflect the alignment.
Oh, I see what I'm supposed to do. There we go.
Looks good. That wasn't so hard.
Captain on deck. Thank you, Haja. I'm not gonna pronounce your name correctly. I'm sorry. Yeah, that would be me. It's like, hi everybody.
Commander Westbrook, right? Chief Science
Captain's
Officer.
on deck.
You remembered my
Well,
name
let's
and
explore
my
strange
Impressive.
new worlds and seek out new breweries and civilizations. That would be me. That would be me.
Yes, I'm the Chief Science Officer, and I have the dubious honor of being the most senior officer on this bridge. I know this
Ow.
ship inside and out.
All right, judgy.
Better than just about anyone.
You think highly? Nope. Play to the egos.
What a
Try and
very
play nice.
impressive
I'm new on
list
the
of
crew. Play
credentials.
nice.
This is a research and discovery ship,
This guy
first
is
and
a bit
foremost.
judgy.
Now with a former tactical officer as its new first officer.
Wow. Way to be a dick.
I'm curious, though. A Kobliad, or half in your case, is an odd choice
Oh
for
yeah,
first
just
officer.
pointing out someone's.
Given your vulnerable
Oh, I hate this man already.
condition and all. But
I
if,
hate this
as an
man
example,
already.
We found ourselves in a hostile
You're a
situation.
little bit
And you were
racist.
suddenly incapacitated because you needed an infusion. What would happen then?
And ableist.
You'd leave Captain Solano without an XO. Granted, that would be a worst-case scenario, but not outside the realm
Yeah,
of
no, I'm
possibility.
calling out this jerk.
Like I said, in my entire
Yeah,
career,
exactly,
it's never
Christopher.
been
Leave
an
your,
issue.
as Captain
Or
Kirk says,
cost.
leave your
This-
bigotry in
and
your
I don't
quarters.
expect this to be any different.
Yeah, this guy's a
I was
jerk.
just
I do not
curious,
like him at
that's
all.
all.
You're just curious. Yeah, you're.
Listen,
that's-
can I be blunt, Commander?
I see no reason to stop now.
Yeah, I was say.
Commander Sutherland, your predecessor, was one of the best first officers in all of Starfleet. His record was impeccable and his reputation was without equal. I mean no disrespect, but the shoes you're stepping into are almost impossible to fill.
Yeah, well, you've already
He
been
was loved by the
disrespectful.
crew. And he was one of my closest friends. So I can only hope that you'll live up to expectations.
I don't think I could
Yeah,
ever
I was
replace
gonna say,
Commander Sutherland.
what is with the mood ring? I'm
And
sure
it
that's
would
the
be a
thing that sort of
mistake to
helps
even
her
try.
with the things she needs.
Seeing as Captain Solano is on the starbase, let me give you an update on this ion storm we're flying into. It's
Alright, well,
unusual,
do
unlike
not like
anything
this
I've ever
guy.
seen. At
Got
the
it.
moment, I can't tell you if the Resolute will shrug it off or if we're putting ourselves at risk. However, if we
I
learn
was
more
muted
about
that
its
entire time,
Oh,
wasn't
were you?
I?
Yeah, you were.
I was shitting on this shitty dude.
Oh yeah, no,
I
he's a
said-
shitty man.
I said, as a disabled person, I find it interesting that Kobliad are clearly being used as like a disability metaphor, and also this guy would be really shitty to any diabetics that are on the crew. Let's
Oh
be
yeah,
real.
he really would. It's like, whoa, what if you needed a cookie during a dramatic event? And it's like, go fuck yourself, asshole.
But an injection,
Yeah.
like,
yeah. I mean, I think that's probably feels like the closest metaphor here is like a diabetes metaphor for this character.
We can come
Yeah.
up with a scientific countermeasure.
no, I was a chronically ill
Just a
person that
moment.
has to use medication to take care of myself. I'm not diabetic, but just that's an easier reference point for the audience to understand what I am talking about.
Well, it's actually it's
Um,
worthwhile to talk about in a Star Trek context because Noah Averbach Katz, who played the Andorian character on Star Trek Discovery, who is a wonderful human being and the husband of the Tilly's actor. I'm forgetting her name off the top of my head. Mary Wiseman. they just made a film that was a post-apocalyptic film about being diabetic in the apocalypse, and I actually got to see it.
Oh,
interesting! It's actually very, very good. If you haven't supported it, it's called Type 1, and it's about like what it's like to be diabetic and like when you don't have any like ability to access these things and how you feel like a burden on your partner, and everything like that. It's a very, very, very good film, and I really, really liked it. And I'll be frank, like in part like inspired like me wanting to reach out to Dr. Aaron to do identities, because I'm like, oh, if Noah can do it, then it's like, oh, I can do it. And so Noah's like one of the sweetest human beings, and he struggles with being a diabetic, and wanted to write that story. So I think like it's a very good film that you all should go. It's finished. Anthony Rapp directed it, I should say too, and I don't know if they've released it publicly yet, but I've gotten to see it as a backer of their Kickstarter, and it was a really good film. So I think like talking about diabetes in a Star Trek context actually has like really relevant precedent recently. So yeah. So let's see. Oh, Hijimandra. Apologies, I keep saying your name. If you look at the word insubordination in the Federation dictionary, it's just that guy's. It's just that guy's mugshot. Also, Kata will be fine. I'll say Kata. As pronounced, my name is starting to get resembling a field sobriety test. Kata, I adore you. You are wonderful. Thank you for being amazing. Just a field sobriety test for your name. But yeah, no. If you haven't had a chance, go check out Type 1.
We've got a massive energy wave inbound on screen.
Uh-oh. We got a Nexus wave.
Tracing its trajectory.
The starbase docking clamps are holding.
The storm's emissions are fluctuating, coming in waves. And if my projections are right, we're about to get hit by a wide-band burst of ionic energy. Like a tsunami.
Not ionic.
I'm reading power abnormalities.
Red alert!
Red alert!
Pull a Riker. Shields up. Red alert. Oh, shoot. I made the lights go blinky red.
Evacuating main gangway and retracting.
Putting sensor visualization on screen.
With the structural integrity field shut down, we can't take a direct hit.
Time to impact.
Liam O'Brien's really stressed.
We have limited protection. I need every available solution. What are our options?
I feel bad because I think often Liam O'Brien gets hired to sound like Liam O'Brien and not do like a character voice, and he has a good range. So
that is.
But he just gets hired to play Liam O'Brien. So like,
yeah. But hey, I'm not against playing Liam O'Brien. I like Liam O'Brien, but anyway,
wait,
he's great. Yeah.
Sending all auxiliary power.
We gotta check and see.
Send the aux power to the shields. We can't reactivate the entire shield bubble, but it's a directional threat, so we can orient all we have towards the wave.
Okay, and choose to.
You have to believe me.
We only get one shot at this. We can't afford to get it wrong.
That's right, which is why we need to send power to our shields.
Shields up.
Petrosian, get those shields up. Rerouting power to shields. Stand by. I need a heading. We've only got one shot. Understood. On my command.
Make some decisions. That's gonna make. I'm gonna make the douche nozzle character.
Heading locked. Raise shields.
This is it.
All hands, brace for impact.
I also love this like defensive versus offensive sort of choice.
Okay. We have experienced a surge of radiation.
We experienced a surge of radiation.
This radiation supercharged the plasma, forcing it to backflush through the system and creating a dangerous imbalance.
Blow out every primary system on the ship.
Just tell us where you need us.
I need you to traverse the hull to the access port to recalibrate the port nacelle plasma regulator.
Oh, we gotta do some technobabble nonsense. I'm here for some technobabble nonsense. Let me do it.
We've reached the first access point.
Understood. Do you see the override for the level 1 failsafe circuit?
I see it.
Affirmative.
Engage the override. It should allow us to stop the EPS flow to the warp engine without triggering an automatic core shutdown.
Bibbly babbly boobly boo.
Bibbity bibbity babbity boobity.
Technobabble. Technobabble.
Failsafe override engaged.
Are you sure? I am registering some crosstalk in the bypass circuit.
We need to route the signals so they don't interfere with each other.
I don't know what any of this means. I'm just pushing buttons. I'm definitely a technician. I'm just pushing. I'm putting things in other things. This is what Star Trek is about.
DS to Resolute. The failsafes are temporarily disabled. Moving on to the EPS regulator.
I love that, like, Star Trek is like, I'm just gonna take this out, put that there, put this here, put that there. All right, we did it.
One of the discharges coalesced.
It's coming right toward us. I'm gonna try to disrupt it with my phaser.
Shoot it. Kill it with fire. Ah! Yeah, die! Okay.
So we gotta climb up the pylon. Not that there's really an up, but, you know.
I've not seen... Uh-oh, what are we doing? Your favorites. Phaser to clear a path. I do... Who doesn't love a good data wafer, my friend? Who doesn't love a good data wafer? Nocturne. Oh. Gotta shoot things. Shoot things. Ah. See, I've been reading a lot of reviews of this game, and I saw a lot of reviews saying, like, oh, it's got, like, really obnoxious, like, mechanics and, like, weird dumb things. And I'm like, I'm assuming they mean, like, stuff like this where I'm just, like, shooting these clouds. But this is dumb Star Trek shit that I'm... Oh, no! I'm died!
Right? Yeah. So it took most
I was just like, this is dumb Star Trek shit that I'm here
on
for.
me.
That damaged the suit.
I'm here for dumb Star Trek. I don't know, I feel like this game gets dumb Star Trek shit.
We're almost to the regulator.
As long as these things hopefully aren't sentient. Hopefully I'm not murdering a bunch of, like, sentient.
We're at the regulator. Opening the access panel.
I am now halting the EPS flow to the port nacelle. We have little time before it causes an overload in the engine. You must work efficiently.
Oh no, I'll work inefficiently, Commander Vulcan. It's a crank. Why do you design this with a crank? I love it.
EPS manifold adjusters reset to neutral.
Oh, I gotta... Oh, it's a puzzle. I see. Okay, got it.
The EPS lines to the port warp engine are back in balance.
did the... Oh, you're muted, Aaron.
Almost done. Once I cycle the manifold...
Sorry, I just saw the comment from Chronoton, if we eject all the ship's children of the problem, it'll go away. What?
If I eject all the Oh no! Why? Oh my god. I literally just like was writing about that earlier in with Deep Space Nine about like the direct like discussion about like children on starships that Deep Space Nine has with Jake Sisko and like how it's different from Picard like rejecting kids. And I'd just be like Picard being like, all right, we need to shoot all the children at the problem. Obviously not, but it's just funny. That's
Number one, eject the children.
That actually, you know what? Now hearing you say that, I'm just like, that's a Janeway choice. Janeway would be like, delete the children.
Janeway, I haven't watched on Voyager, but every time I hear more about Janeway, the more I'm like, is she just evil? Is Janeway just evil?
Here's my thing with Janeway. Janeway was inconsistently written, but made consistent by Kate Mulgrew's performance. Kate Mulgrew, if it was not for Kate Mulgrew, Janeway would feel like a very inconsistent character, but Kate Mulgrew has such like gravitas and also like understands how to like make a character arc consistent throughout her performance, that she does it really, really well. So I like if it were not for Kate Mulgrew, Janeway would be a much worse written character, but Kate Mulgrew just like nails that performance so hard that she does it really, really well. So like people like discuss the ways Janeway is written, but I think she brings a lot of nuance to it in a really cool way. In a really cool way. Like we Star Trek was lucky to have gotten Kate Mulgrew because she was amazing and fantastic. Like we stand Kate Mulgrew here. Also, like if you ever listen to Kate Mulgrew talk, she is one of the most like well-read actors I've ever seen in my life. Like she is like one of the most literary actors ever, and she has a great she has an autobiography that is really, really good. So yeah, Kate Mulgrew is the problem with Janeway, and Archer actually has this problem too. Both Janeway and Archer, and someone just said in the chat too, Andrew collected, Janeway was written to be correct, even if she does the exact opposite thing for the opposite reasons as compared to what she did in previous episodes. Like, the problem with Janeway and Archer is that they are both written as characters where, like, they have to be perfect in every choice that they make. So, like, every time that there's, like, an episode where, like, there's, like, a moral issue that, like, Archer and Janeway have to, like, opine upon, like, here's the moral choices, like, they have to be correct, and the show has to be like, this is the correct choice, there's no other choice than this, they are making the moral decision, when really a lot of the choices that both Janeway and Archer make as characters is actually, like, nuanced, and there is no, like, right or wrong choice. But the show has to, like, moralize a lot about it in the way that, like, Deep Space Nine especially wouldn't. And Next Generation would do less of. Like, Next Generation would sort of peddle more in very clear moral discussions. Whereas Voyager and Enterprise would deal in more nebulously gray moral discussions, but then sort of, like, moralize, like, this is the correct decision, and sometimes fall on, like, the ethically dubious side of that, but then the show would frame it as, like, this is the correct choice. And that's sort of the problem with, like, both Janeway and even more so Archer. Archer gets a little bit more of a pass, one, because I think he's a dude, and also two, because it's set in the 22nd century, because it's a show where it's like humanity is more imperfect. So, like, Archer gets a little bit more of a pass sometimes, just like, well, that's a show set in the 22nd century where humanity's still learning. And also probably we're a little bit more critical of Kate Mulgrew than we are of Scott Bakula. So, like, that's my general take on them. Obviously, that's not, like, every single episode of Voyager and Enterprise, but, like, as a general, like, analysis of Janeway and Archer, that's my sort of thought on them. So, anyways, while you do that, I'm going to go grab more beer and pee, and then we can keep going with this. So,
sounds good.
Aronok, the stream is yours for a hot couple seconds.
Okay. Hey, chat. I'm running annoying Lost Sectors in Destiny 2. How are you? I haven't finished Enterprise. I got a long ways into it. I managed to struggle through more of it than I did Voyager. I don't know. Something about those shows didn't click for me, unfortunately. I wish they had. I don't think you should quail and bow before my majesty. Yeah, and even like I think part of why I got through Discovery was just because Lady Knight was like, you need to watch the other seasons, it's better. And I was like, okay, if you say so. And I did get through, and I did enjoy season 2 and 3.
I am back. I have my last beer that I have in my house, except for Bud Light that I bought for a gag in a video. I literally only have this and Bud Light in my house, so hopefully this beer is good. I need to finish. Oh, someone just mentioned Turfbane. I need to finish Ocarina of Time at some point. I started that on stream and never beat it. All right, this beer. If anyone's wondering about it, this beer is because I was doing a breakfast stout earlier. This is another breakfast stout. I forgot this is the one that I owned. Breakfast stout aged with coffee. So this is a much more stronger beer. I'm going to apologize.
Oh, sorry, I did time.
I'm gonna apologize. Probably by the end of this beer, I'm gonna be like completely incoherent. So if I start going Enterprise, just do this thing. That's just that. That's the reason. So
okay.
All right, let's see.
I'm here to look after you.
But if we were living in capitalism, that would look very expensive.
Get down! Here's the bridge. We just lost the docking clamp. We've got a lot of debris coming down. All vibrations, too. We can't finish the EPS regulation in these conditions. Please advise.
We have to release the ship from that other docking clamp or the hull will be ripped apart.
There's a problem. The clamps are supposed to disengage automatically in an emergency, but it's not working.
Not working? What are our options?
The docking clamps are fitted with exploding bolts for an emergency release.
We've got crew out there. That'd be like setting off a bomb next to them.
Maybe there's another way.
Starbase is hailing us.
Put them through.
Resolute, the remaining mooring arm is failing. You need to disengage from the starbase now. The damage to the station will be catastrophic.
We have crew outside and are looking for the
We have
safest
people
way.
on this station. If that mooring arm breaks, we could lose dozens of crew.
Commander, hear me. Reverse the polarity of the hull, which theoretically will repel the docking clamps.
And repel the engineering crew right off the hull into the storm.
This is Captain Solano. Put me on screen.
Go ahead. Captain, we have a situation.
Commander, what are you doing? This isn't your call to make. Blow
The captain doesn't know the whole story.
I'm giving you an order. Jara?
Captain, you brought me here because you trust me.
All right, I'm gonna call the captain
Can you
on his
trust
shit
me
as he
now?
asked me to do.
You better be sure you make the right decision.
Oh,
The
wow.
captain made himself quite clear.
They're gonna get hammered with debris out there. Reverse the polarity.
All right, I'm gonna trust not the captain.
There is protocol.
And there are lives. Starbase, stand by. We're gonna flip hull polarity
Fuck
to
the
disengage
captain.
the clamps.
He told me to call him on his shit. I'm gonna call him on his shit. We protect the crew. All right, here we go. Yeah, the captain is giving me bad exactly homo celerity. The captain is giving me bad roll vibes. I'm getting such bad roll vibes from this dude.
On my mark.
Oh, someone just said Aeronautic is looking great in general. I agree. You look great. So, just wish to agree. Which Trek species would Bud Light name their official drink? Which species name Bud Light their official drink? Ferengi Cardassians. Also, thanks for the interview for Alphabet. Oh, of course. Oh, I'm glad. I really enjoyed being on Alphabet Mafia. It was a really good time. Ferengi Cardassians. What species would name Bud Light their official? Ferengi, obviously, right? Because like. Cardassians, like Ferengi the Ferengi are just the ones, like they would be Anheuser-Busch, like we're selling our beer, it's gonna be great. Whereas the Cardassians would be like, they would be the ones getting all butthurt. Bud Light is showcasing Federation ideals and their weird like gender norms. So.
Yeah, Cardassia would respond that way.
Yeah, Cardassia would boycott Bud Light.
6.
Also, fuck Bud Light. It's just shitty gear.
4.
Let's see.
3. 2.
And corporate pride means nothing.
1. Mark.
Oh shit! Did I just fuck up? Oh no! Fuck! I was not paying attention. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Okay, let's me retry. I was gonna say, I think I just killed my character.
5. 4. 3. 2. 1.
Okay, that's what I get for not paying attention. I was like, oh shit, did I screw up and kill Diaz?
Perfect.
balance is reaching critical condition. We are moments from primary system failure.
I got it.
A lot of this intercutting between like the upper decks and lower decks, like it's an interesting structure that they have here. So you play an upper deck character and a lower deck character. I kind of like I actually really like the structure of this game where it's like the decisions of your character on the upper decks has potential like life consequences for the characters on the lower decks. That's like actually a really, really interesting way to structure a Star Trek video game.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it, my beer drink can stop me from saving myself.
True, sorry, Americans don't make good beer.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I know some big company beers, big company like America things don't make good beers.
Yeah, sorry. We should be specific. There's definitely.
You don't need to apologize. Like,
I just like making jokes about America, but I was going a little too far.
What we know as American beers suck, but there are good local breweries. That being said, like. Whenever I go to like a place that just has like the big beers from every country, I never choose the American beer because it's always the crappy one.
Well, American beer is like really, really light.
Oh, no! I swear to God, if they kill the Trill character, I will riot.
I got you.
I will demand.
Edsolar's hurt and unconscious. I'm gonna have to tow her back to the airlock.
I swear to God, if this game ever kills a Trill character, I riot. Like, do not kill Trills in my world.
Come to my attention
that is tantamount to just like, I'm done. I'm out. Trills are perfect, and we never question them.
There's an auxiliary hatch near you on the far end of the pylon. You must bring Miss Edsolar there to access the interior.
Roger that.
Like, legit Trills are the best. Like, Trills are my favorite.
I mean, you know how much I love Trills.
Trills are the best.
They're so trans.
Yes. They are very trans. Even the non like symbiote Trills I also like because like there's an interesting discussion about like I really love Forget Me Not from Star Trek Discovery because it showed about how much of Trill culture is about like accepting change as part of it, which is like I really love that episode of Discovery for that. There's also a really good comic about Trill culture that I should share with you at some point. That's like is about this person who she's a non-symbiote Trill, like trying to find her identity in a world that like really values Trill symbiotes.
I'm at the
like,
auxiliary hatch.
Just discussing like who she is and how she should like understand herself. It's a really good comic series. I'll have to check those out. Kata. I'm just gonna call you Kata. Give my activist money. I love that. That's great. I love this joke.
You go first.
Like, screw it.
What?
Let me save your neck this time.
I swear to God, if they kill her, I'm gonna be so upset.
No time to fight me on this.
I'm having
Get in there.
You go first.
Not on your life.
Let's not let it come down to that.
Okay, good. I'm glad it's.
Reminder chat not to say anything that would get you like in trouble with YouTube.
What is this?
Nothing. I just had to delete a message. I don't disagree with the message. I just can't allow it to be displayed.
Fair. Welcome to my neurodivergent brain, where it's like there are things where like I know I shouldn't say, but I will say because fuck the system. But anyways. Alright. I saved the crew.
We made it.
Hell yeah. Oh, even the douche nozzle is happy. I made everyone happy!
Do it.
Because I listened to the douche nozzle and not the douche nozzle at one point. Like, I'm not trying to impress the douche nozzle, but if he has a good suggestion, I'll listen to it. I'm just calling him the douche nozzle because he was
Douche
shitty.
nozzles are sometimes. No. Sorry, I can keep track of what it was me to know. Sometimes douche nozzles are correct.
Every once in a while. I mean, this is Star Trek, where it's like some people like the thing with Star Trek is like where you have to understand where it's like there are jerks in Starfleet, but ultimately even the jerks are like trying to improve themselves. That's the thing that I loved about like Shaw and Star Trek Picard Season 3. Like, I have many criticisms of Star Trek Picard Season 3, but the thing I love most about Star Trek Picard Season 3 is the character of Shaw, because he is a character who is kind of a jerk, but the season lets you understand where his trauma comes from and why he makes the choices that he makes that stem from, that are coming out of, like, there's a real trauma that he experienced because of the Borg that makes him make choices that are discriminatory towards characters like Seven and Picard because they are ex-Borg. Yet the show also understands that but doesn't let them off the hook and lets them actually grow as characters and say, hey, this is unacceptable how you treat them. We can understand where that comes from, but this is unacceptable, and grow from that. And so that's what I love about Star Trek, where it's a show about like understanding that people are imperfect and they can make shitty choices and they can say shitty things and do shitty things, but we can actually like grow from that and learn from that as long as they are open to being held accountable. So I really hope with this character of Westbrook, who is like the one who is very clearly like kind of ableist in his like way of viewing our character that we play as, if the game like understands like he is wrong, but he can grow from that understanding and like grow as a person and accept accountability for that, I'm here for that, which is why I liked Shaw from Picard Season 3. So
help me with him.
That's like Star Trek is like even the douche nozzles can learn. Is basically the idea.
Let's get this off.
You don't have to agree, but I
Medical. Got one wounded at my location. Carter.
No, I agree.
You don't look so good.
You haven't watched Picard Season 3, I don't think, have you?
No, I haven't.
I'd be curious your thoughts on it, because I have many issues with Picard Season 3, but Captain Shaw is not one of them.
I just got here.
Other than
to see you two get blown to
death
space
through, redemption through death as his like part of his character.
Now let's get you down to sickbay.
Great.
I do have it is a fancy scar. Jesse, what do you think about the TNG Trill episode with Beverly Trill at Riker? Good idea, bad execution, or homophobic? Missed the whole point. I'd have to like. I think my problem with that episode is that it is an episode. I can do a whole analysis of that episode. My brief thoughts on it are, it's an episode that I think is trying to get at understanding like changes in a relationship that can be read as like a trans issue and a sexuality issue that I think the show ultimately kind of fails at slightly, where it sort of has Beverly have this speech about like, this is too much for me right now, and maybe one day we'll get there, but right now it's too much for me, and it's just it kind of feels like the show sort of like having this centrist point of view of being like, we'll get there one day, but not right now, and so we need to be okay with it and us not being okay right now, and it's like that kind of has that centrist like, we'll get there at some point of view, but I kind of disagree with that episode for it. But that being said, I think there's some interesting discussions that come up in that episode that like for the character Beverly, I think is interesting. But it's one of those like, I could do a bigger analysis of it when I'm not 3 beers in at this point. I think like it's not the worst episode ever, and I don't think it's like terrible, but I don't think it fully gets to the point that I wish it could have made. Is the big thing. So
the repair crew made it inside. EPS flow is back to nominal levels. The SIF is back up.
Look, Owen, everything isn't a trans metaphor, but the Trill are definitely a trans metaphor.
Clamps using hull polarity minimize damage to the Resolute. We'll have some last-minute repairs to make, but if we reapportion...
Not everything's a trans metaphor. We just tend to talk about things that are trans metaphor more often than things that are not.
Exactly.
Because
we're trans. What a shock.
Good to hear.
It's almost like that's the stuff that will interest us more often. Actually, reading some things as a trans metaphor is a bad idea, except it's bad. It makes it worse.
Yeah.
Makes the experience of that art worse.
Yes. No, welcome to Star Trek Picard Season 3. There's a very deliberate trans metaphor that if you read that in conjunction with the rest of the metaphor of that season makes it worse. But, well, that's the whole thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of messy queer metaphor in superheroes that I'm going to talk about at some point.
Yeah, I get you.
Oh,
Sean Piper asks, what are your thoughts on potentially bringing Shaw back in possibly Star Trek Legacy or otherwise? I am someone, because I've actually thought about this, because one of those things is like, one of the things that I would really, let me explain my thoughts on this. If I ever wrote for Star Trek, like if someone like said, Jesse, you get to write a Star Trek episode, one of the things that I would love to write is actually to write about the XBs, the X-Borgs, because I think the X-Borgs are such a great discussion as a queer metaphor, as well as a diaspora people metaphor, and I think you do a lot of stuff with the X-Borg. But one of the problems with the X-Borg is that the character, I legitimately already have a pitch for, if Star Trek Legacy ever gets made, I have a pitch for an episode that involves the X-Borg and Borg Roddy from Star Trek Picard Season 2. Legitimately, I have a whole episode written about X-Borg. That I think would be fascinating. That being said, one of the things that's hard for me about that is that, one of my big problems with Star Trek Picard Season 1 is it writes X-Borg so well as a, queer metaphor, but also a metaphor for diaspora people and things like that. But it kills the character of Hugh, who is sort of, the lead X-Borg character, in a very frivolous way. I think, Jonathan Del Arco is a gay... Jonathan Del Arco played Hugh in such a beautiful way as, a gay man talking about, HIV and the queer community, because he, talks about how he played Hugh as, an ode to a man who died from HIV. And I think he just did such a great performance, and that season does such a disservice to that character by killing him off very frivolously to sort of have, oh, look, he died so that we can, tell this other plot. And it's actually very upsetting how that character is used in that season. That being said, if I was to pitch an episode about the X-Borg to a Star Trek Legacy thing, it's I would really, really, really want Hugh to come back, because I feel like he's such a great face for that community if you do a series on that. But that being said, I am also someone as a writer who is I hate the idea of constantly bringing characters back. I like characters who die to stay dead, because when you constantly bring back characters back from the dead, you kind of cheapen the idea of death to a degree. And it's I don't mind when characters coming back from the dead is an earned story beat or a discussion story beat. I think Culber from Star Trek Discovery is actually a good example of that, of how they actually really earn and deal with and discuss characters coming back from the dead.
Yeah, I'm not sure it earns it, but I do think it is a good apology for burying the gay.
Yeah, that's what that was. The better way to put it. That's the way to put it. It's a good apology.
It was an okay apology. It should never have gotten there in the first place. Yes. The character shouldn't have died.
Yes, exactly. And I think, I guess more what I'm saying is if you're going to have a character come back from the dead, it should kind of be part of the story from their death. If
there was a lot of story going on involving why he comes back.
Well, the thing with Hugh is Hugh feels, the way Hugh was written feels like it was, they killed off Hugh because they thought it'd be cool for the story, which it wasn't. It was a shitty way to deal with his character. But the way it was written, it was the show sort of being well, we killed him, we made that choice, and so here's a way that we can make his death come back, have consequences. So it's it was the best way to deal with his character's death. But when you have a character who but that it was very clear to me that character was not written with his resurrection in mind. Excuse me. It was written as we're going to kill his character for this story beat. And then they're oh, people were upset, so we'll write a second season where it'll do justice to him coming back. And it's sort of a final touchstone for his relationship with Seven of Nine, where his relationship with Seven of Nine is he dies and he sort of says his final beat is I see 7 of 9. I understand who she is as a full person, and I had prejudice against her as a Borg, but I see her as a full person. And while I do not like the like redemption through death, where it's like every shitty thing Shaw has done is like made okay by the fact that he dies by understanding that what he did wrong. I would much rather see storylines of characters being like, I'm not going to die, but I'm going to like sacrifice and come to understand the problems that I caused for someone else. Like I would much rather have a character arc for Shaw where he's like, I fucked over 7 and I should not have, because of who she is, not like because of like my bigotry towards her. And I should come to earn redemption for that and grow as a person. Like, I think we need more stories in our society about like people not just dying to earn redemption, but about them like learning and struggling to grow through their understanding. Yeah. And I think that we need that with I'll finish off in just that. I think that we need more stories of that. That being said, the show ended that arc with his character and made that his death be about that arc. Like his death is about that arc. And so I am, as a writer, am somewhat always hesitant to be like, let's bring back a character, because it feels a little bit self-indulgent, where it's like, oh, I would rather bring back this character because I think they can best represent the thing that I want to write. It's like, oh, I want to write about this, so let's bring this character back so I can write about that thing. It's like kind of this looking to the past sort of thing as a writer, where it's like, oh, I want to have my go at it. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I want to have my chance to write this type of story, where it's like that character existed to tell that story. And it's like, they existed to tell that story, now we move past it. So I would much rather write a new character and give like a new actor, a new actor a chance to like embody that, and a new person to like discuss that issue and show that like humanity is not just like these one people who have to represent these big complex issues. And like write something new as a writer, than constantly being like, oh, I want to have my go at like bringing the Borg Queen back, or bringing Hugh back, or bringing Shaw back. So I'm like, let death be the end of a character's story, and allow yourself the chance to like write something new going forward. So like, if I was a writer on Star Trek Legacy, deeply in my core, I would be like, I would really love Hugh, Jonathan Del Arco as an actor, and Hugh as a character to be a gay man who got to embody what it means to talk about the XBA's experience as a metaphor for queerness and a metaphor for diaspora people. But I would try and clamp down on that impulse and say, well, what if I wrote a new character who could be something different and have a new perspective on that issue that's different from Jonathan Del Arco's, but still could embody that. And I would like, if I was the one in charge of that, I was like, I would cast a gay actor still. I would cast someone who had dealt with like the issues dealing with in the 80s through HIV, but like maybe have a new perspective or something different to bring to that I think is really cool. So like, that's my sort of thought. And it's like, if you kill characters, unless you have a really good really good reason for bringing that character back, like Culber and Discovery, where it's like apologizing for the bury your gay sort of thing, I think it is worthwhile to like create something new. So
yeah,
sorry, I just ranted for a long time because I have actually been thinking about this a lot, just because I might have I'll leave it there. I shouldn't say that publicly.
We should talk about this after the stream.
Yeah. You have thoughts. You have thoughts, I'm sure.
Yes, and I'm also just thinking about a certain thing.
Oh, yeah,
which we cannot talk about. But
I'll leave that. Yeah. I'll leave that not in the public sphere because I have thoughts. I think I know what you're thinking about. So, anyways, let's get chewed out by Captain Stanley.
You disobeyed my orders.
Uh-oh.
Well?
Respectfully, Captain, I made the right choice given the information
You
I had.
disobeyed my orders! And not just in front of the bridge crew, but the Starbase staff as well.
Wow, okay, so this captain's literally the captain's like, you disobeyed. He's like, I want you to question my orders. Literally 2 minutes later, how dare you question my orders?
This captain is every shitty white man I've ever had to do a job with. Like cis white dudes do this.
Exactly.
I like being told straight up what it is. You tell them, hey, how dare you?
Yeah, it's like, oh god, I feel this very deeply in my soul.
It's already tarnished around the fleet. But what is it going to do to my credibility on this ship? From the top to
Oh no, shit! I didn't mean to hit a button. Fuck. Ah, fuck.
It's okay.
Okay, good. I quit. I actually accidentally hit a button when I didn't mean to, because I didn't want to play. Because I hit the button that was gonna placate his ego, and I'm like, no, I don't want to placate your ego. Fuck you. You asked me to call you on your shit, and I called you on your shit, and then you're like, nope,
The SIF is back up.
this isn't cool.
How does this affect mission readiness, Mr. Ermont?
Releasing the docking clamps using hull polarity minimized damage to the Resolute. We'll have some last-minute repairs to make, but if we reapportion
I made the
some
right
of the
choice.
staff, we can make our departure on time. As of now, however, we are successfully moored to the station.
Good to hear. Send updates to my ready room. Commander Rydek, with me.
Alright, sorry, I have to restart that because I didn't intend to do that.
All good.
You disobeyed my orders.
Disobeyed my orders. I'm gonna
Well,
stand by my choice.
Respectfully,
Screw you,
Captain, I made the right choice given the
You
information I had.
disobeyed my orders! And not just in front of the bridge crew, but the Starbase staff as well. That's going to get around. My name's already
How dare
tarnished
you
around the
disobey
fleet.
me? It's like, it's not a
But
big
what is it
deal.
going to do?
He says, like, what is it going to do to my credibility on the ship? It's like, it's not gonna, like, if we're following Starfleet's ideals, like, it shouldn't do anything to your credibility, because Starfleet is quite literally about, like, having conversations and trying to understand, like, what's the best pathway through the conversation. So it will do nothing to your credibility. It will do nothing to your credibility if you just, like, say, hey, you know what? My first officer made the right choice. And, like, accept that and we move forward. But if you're, like, gonna make a big deal about it, it's like, oh, my first officer disagreed with me, then yeah, it'll do a fuck ton to your credibility, because it'll then split the crew into being like, oh, I agree with the captain or I agree with the XO. It's like you as the captain are the one that's going to be causing the problem. If you're just like, you know what? Everyone's safe and fine. My XO made the right choice. Like, it's like you're the one that's
To
going
my
to be
credibility
stoking
on
the
this
issue.
ship. From the top to the bottom. Bridge to lower decks.
Captain, I told you I'd be honest, so here it is. Maybe I shouldn't have disobeyed a direct order, but you were wrong.
Yeah,
you weren't on board, and you didn't have all the information. So I made the right decision for the ship. If you're worried about your credibility, put your ego aside and trust your crew.
Boom! Hell yes.
Trust me.
You might have won some fans on the bridge with that stunt. Not everyone. Lieutenant Commander Chovak has already bent my ear.
I'm sure he doesn't take it personally. He'll get over it in time.
It wasn't a stunt. It was me trying to save people's
Chovak
lives.
is more complicated than he would want
I
to
don't
admit.
like this captain either.
I guess we all are.
Yeah, exactly. That's why he's doing it in private. I'm glad that he's doing it in private. That's at least a
And
good choice.
If I'm being honest,
Okay,
I'm not sure
I like
what I would have
him
done in the
slightly
moment
better
either.
now for a bit.
You never really know if you weren't in those shoes.
Okay.
So, let's just boil it down to you did what you had to.
Thank you for understanding, sir. I'm sure no one knows the burden of command as well as you do.
I'm sure you
Okay.
will.
I
someday.
will give you a little bit of respect, Captain, for doing this in private and
Despite
admitting
it all,
your
we
doubts.
got our final Starfleet clearance to depart. So if you'll fetch Mr. Ermont, we'll knock out the final details of any outstanding
not.
repairs.
No, I
We'll
would
set
not.
out for Otari.
Yes, sir.
I like this game so far. I think it understands issues of being a first officer. Yeah, we did get good. It does feel a little
All
unnatural.
departments
Where's my
reporting
jetpack?
full
I get
mission
you.
readiness.
It does feel a little unnatural. But you know what? Maybe it can.
All
You know, I
departments
can
report-
buy someone being like angry in the moment, like you disagreed with me, and then being like, you know what? You're right. I hear you. I'm
Full
open to
mission
that.
ready.
Especially if someone
This is
does it
my
in
favorite
private,
moment,
not
right now.
The start of a new mission
Yeah,
is
that
always
interactions
full
are
of
bad.
possibility.
The Orion Syndicate could sell it as a drug.
Don't let the Admiralty hear you say that.
Captain on the bridge.
Sit. Sit, everyone. You all know, I'm not big on speeches. We're embarking on the first
Excelsior.
mission since our refit.
Hey, Bellamy.
Let's make it a good one.
Bellamy, you're back.
Disengage docking clamps.
Bellamy. Okay, Bellamy. I just want to say I adore you and love you. Mwah. Just stopping. Just say that.
Docking clamps released.
Thrusters ahead, Mr. Handar.
Ship going out. Oh my god! I love it! I love that this is like just a Star Trek thing now where it's like, yeah, we're gonna spend a slightly inordinate amount of time just showing you the ship just doing shit. Just moving out of starbase. I know that that's dumb. I know that it's like stupid, but it's like, you know what? I'm here for starships being sexy.
There, that should do it. Set a course for the Hotari system. Prepare to go to Warp 8.
Hi, Captain.
You know what? You take
Oh,
this.
he gives it to me, even though we had a disagreement.
Me?
Engage.
What are all the options?
I like, I don't know, engage is sexy. Everyone's like, there's like this thing in Star Trek now where it's like, we need to make a whole big deal about like every captain having their own like way of saying how to go to work.
Easy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But which is like kind of like it's like kind of like a nostalgia thing where it's like we need to make a big deal out of stuff. But like I'm just like engage works. Who doesn't love engage? I know it's Picard's thing, but it's like it's good. It works. We don't need to make a big deal. It's engage. There it is. So
Definitely.
yeah. Also, John Vinnels, thank you so much for the super chat. You just said, I just watched Centaur World again and thinking about how well that show handles the themes of body dysmorphia and alienation and trauma. And do you think the free Borg could be read as dysmorphia or dysphoria metaphor? Yes, I think. God, John. To be frank with you, I'm 3 beers in at this point, so I don't think I could like give you my whole diatribe. I think there is legitimately, I think you would use the X-Borg. I will give you the mini rant on this. I would absolutely freaking love so badly to be able to write a story about the X-Borg as a queer metaphor of a diaspora people and a people that like want to form a community after like having dealt with like this mindset that like erased their identity and then tried to take control of them and try to force them to be a certain way, and like how do you find identity after that? I would really, really deeply love to like write an episode about the X-Borg so badly. Like, you have no idea. Like, legitimately, I want to pitch... If Star Trek Legacy ever happens, I want to pitch an episode that is about the X-Borg so badly. So I think you could actually do a lot of really cool things about, like, with the X-Borg. Like, I don't want to write the Borg... Like, the Borg are dead. Legitimately, after Star Trek Picard Season 3, I don't want to ever write about, like, the Borg ever again with, like, the Queen as the Borg. Like, I think that's done. The X-Borg, and also Borg Roddy, the Borg from Season 2, where it's like this more consensual, like this Borg collective that is more consensual, and the conflicts that may come out of like a consensual Borg collective versus an X-Borg society, I think would be such a fascinating like story to tell that I would really, really love that you could tell with a dysphoria metaphor and like really delve deep into that. When it comes to Centaur World, I really love that show. One of the things with Centaur World, I like that show quite a lot because it does sort of talk about like your body and how you understand your body and how you relate to your body and how it like your body may change in a way that you don't expect and how it like sort of like relates to how you like understand or relate to the world and the people that you care about. And there's such a really, really cool way of like discussing that in that show. The one thing with Centaur World that I will say is like, I am not the biggest musical fan, and I don't find the musical aspect of that show to be as deep as I wish I would like it to be. And so I have like, it's like, I love the ideas of Centaur World, and there are aspects of Centaur World that I think are amazing. And then there's like the musical aspects of Centaur World that I don't love, that I don't think is as deep as it. Have you never seen Centaur World?
Never even heard of it.
It is an animated show that is actually very, very good. I actually really love Centaur World, but it's also a musical, and I don't love some of the songs. Like, some of the songs I just kind of find like, it's okay. But, like, some of the ideas of that show is really, really good because it's about the story of the show is about following the horse of there's a world where there's a stereotypical like protagonist, like I am fighting evil in this world and I have a steed that I ride that I need to go and defeat them with, right? But then that main character's steed and like the horse ends up in this world called Centaur World, where like these animals are more cartoony and less like dealing like this like serious aspect of stuff. And so they try to bring her back to the like serious world so she can defend her rider, as it were. Like she literally calls the main character her, like the character of the other world, the rider. And she slowly becomes more and more of a like cartoon horse. And so it's like every episode she like becomes more like her animation literally becomes more cartoonish. And so it's like her like coming to like accept that like I actually kind of fit into this world, but I also like understand the world that I come from and like relate to, and also like wanting to stop the encroaching fascism of like this evil character that's attacking both worlds in a really cool way. And it's also very funny as well. It's a very, very, very good show. I just don't love the musical aspect of it. I don't think the songs are like super great in my opinion. So
okay,
it's a good show. I would recommend it though. So anyways, we'll keep going with this.
I'm fine. Really, you don't look so good.
Oh, did I need more of my mood ring?
I have to get to sickbay.
Go.
Oh wow, this is a bit extra.
Commander, help me get her inside.
Oh, is this gonna cause the main character to question her? Like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have stressed myself out because of the.
Well, that was quite a scare. A few minutes more and it would have been one of the shortest tenures on record for a first officer.
Is that the engineer that was out on the hull?
That storm did a real number on him, but he'll live. Just needs rest. You should worry about yourself. Your iridium levels.
It's a good thing Eric hasn't seen Centaur World. She spoiled that too. It's fun. I am someone who does not care about spoilers and stuff. And
this is definitely one of the more memorable first days I can think of.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
My name is Dr. Aram Duval, Chief Medical Officer.
It's all about execution.
I guess.
And anyway, most media is like you're only really going to meaningfully understand it when you engage with it multiple times. So.
I think it's because you and I are both like media critics. So you and I both.
Yeah.
Where it's like.
Approaching it from that perspective,
where we approach it from like we don't care about spoilers because it's like we like when we have spoilers then are like, oh, how does this fit into the larger perspective of how the piece is trying to engage with its audience? Whereas like a lot of other people is like, I just want to engage, which is totally, this is not a judgment. This is like, people are just like, oh, I want to engage with this piece of media for 2 hours, an hour, however long it is, and then move beyond it. And like, sort of like, just like experience the journey it takes me on. Whereas like you and I are someone's like, let's like discuss like how this piece of media breaks down each of these like emotional discussions.
Let's dig into it.
Exactly. So.
To be honest, I've never met a Kobliad before. You're...
rare. I know.
I was going to say special.
No.
Your people's numbers have dwindled, despite the
stuff.
Federation's efforts to find a more readily available alternative to the Duridium you need to survive. Yet you joined Starfleet and managed to thrive. I imagine the responsibility must be overwhelming. Maybe even a burden at times.
I know what it means, and I know the responsibility that comes with it. But I can't be anything more than who I am. And if someone has a problem with that, or expects something else, then that's their problem, not mine.
Yeah, it is.
That's exactly right.
I was like literally with that little
and
speech.
Don't worry,
like,
I won't treat you like a science experiment. I just do the science and
I
leave
like
the experiments to Solano.
You don't agree with his methods?
I don't agree with his definition of acceptable risks.
I'll buy it for you.
When the lives of your crew are at stake. My professional...
I will buy it for you. Anyway,
opinion is that the accident
we'll talk about
took
that.
a
If you
toll.
want it, I will buy it for you.
More than he's willing to.
We'll talk about that off.
He's overstressed, operating in the pressure cooker of his own mind. Which is never a good headspace when the lives of your crew are at stake. What concerns me is that now he's even further away from the thing he's been chasing his entire career. The breakthrough discovery. The major innovation. Something he can put his name on.
Oh, this game is... Oh, wow. I really like this game because it's very clearly about, like, are you here for personal ego or are you here for the collective good? That's what this is... Like, I just already see the themes.
It's saying interesting things.
Yeah, the theme of this game is about, like, individualism versus collectivism, and I find that fascinating.
The more the time passes and the further out of reach it gets, the more risk he'll be willing to take. People become blinded by their own ambition.
I hear you. But that's my job, isn't it? To make sure that doesn't happen.
This is the type of,
and we don't lose sight of the bigger picture.
That feels very natural because, frankly, it's like this is shit that people do actually say in conversations in situations like this. And I hate when people are like, "Oh, that's unrealistic dialogue." It's like, no, people express opinions like this. I've encountered this before.
Exactly. I love it. Yeah. I love this. This is actually really interesting.
Which is exactly why I'm so glad you're here. We need you now more than ever. And I have to give you credit for what happened on the bridge. It took guts to defy a direct order.
Huh. I guess we travels fast around here.
Again, I'm only a few, like an hour or so into this game, but like already I kind of like the perspective that this game
It's a small
is
ship,
bringing to Star Trek.
and everyone's curious about the new exit. Fortunately, your cell structure is almost completely stabilized. And I'll spare us both the lecture, but I do feel it's my responsibility to remind you, without regular infusions of Duridium, you will not live. It's as simple as that.
Understood.
Then, my work here is done.
Lieutenant Bedrosian.
I came to see if you were okay. We were all pretty worried on the bridge.
Oh, I like this lieutenant.
No one knew what was happening.
Oh, the
I'm feeling much better.
Like, are you
Thank
okay?
You.
Oh,
it's just part of who I am.
Yeah, I like.
You don't have to explain to me. I understand.
I like.
I'm just glad you're okay.
What is he, Lieutenant?
You trusted me earlier with the shields, and I appreciated that.
Lieutenant Bedhead's
I want you to know that I have your back.
Thank you.
Now, Carter, the emissions that gave you that burn are quite unusual, like everything else that goes with this storm. combination of hyronolin and lectrazine to counter the radiation effects. That should help speed your healing.
Oh, he's got a little scar now.
She's come by a couple of times to see you already.
A badass scar.
Be brief.
It's good to see you awake again. I was starting to get worried. Not that you aren't in good hands with Dr. Duvall. You did take one hell of a shot, though.
I hear you've been checking in on me. Thanks for that.
One of the benefits of working a security rotation. Lots of opportunities to walk by sickbay and stop in. Millie was looking in on you too, by the way. But since it's just us right now, I had a chance to think about this while I was away. And I thought it was important that I just come out and tell you. Instead of tiptoeing around it. Or worse, leaving it unsaid.
It's okay, Miranda. You can tell me anything.
I know that.
Then come on. Just spit it out.
I'm trying. Let me talk.
Say that you want a bone.
What I'm trying to say is, we've been really good friends for a long time. But I got back here and I couldn't ignore it anymore. I want to see if there's more between us than just being friends.
They want a bone.
You don't have to explain it. I feel the same way. There is something between us.
So, do you want to find out what that
Gene Roddenberry's vision, everyone. Let's fuck.
You, and it's there for me.
I was just like, sorry, I love the option. It's like, let's take it slow, or nah, or let's fuck right now. Kind of the it's not really.
Are you kidding me? I just said yes.
I wanted to be sure I heard that right.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. It's just like
the patient needs
great.
to rest if he wants to get back to his old self.
Of course. I'll see you again soon.
He's like, well, I'm gonna get laid later.
Sorry, someone in chat referencing the old memes with Commander Shepard.
Oh yeah, we'll bang. Yeah, so we'll bang. Okay, we'll bang.
Approaching the rendezvous point outside Atari space. Helm, bring us out of war.
Exactly.
Dropping the impulse.
Gene's vision. Oh God, we're in
Ionic interference surging, Captain.
Shield integrity holding. We can take it.
We are at the correct coordinates to meet the shuttle.
Commander Rydek, find us our diplomat, if you will.
Aye, Captain.
Are we gonna get the diplomat?
Let's reduce the noise.
The diplomat's gotta be
filter out environmental signals. I can manually tune what's left for Federation signal types. I've located the shuttle.
Opening comms.
On screen.
Oh no!
Shuttle to Resolute.
Oh,
Shuttle to Resolute. Debris field.
Oh no, it's
Lost
actually our
maneuvering.
diplomat is going to just be killed. And then...
Losing.
I can't get it any clearer.
We won't get a transporter lock. It's just not happening.
Power up the tractor beam. We'll pull them directly into the docking bay.
I love that our guy's just like...
Diaz, you good to run the tractor emitter?
Yes, sir.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Come on, Diaz.
Try and do this.
First thing, lock onto the shuttle and stabilize the rotation.
More Star Trek inane menial tasks. I love it. Where do I go? Okay.
Jesse's favorite thing in menial tasks.
Yeah, I will do inane menial tasks in Star Trek forever. If it's just a whole game of like, let's just get the tractor beam. Let's just use the plasma cutter. Like, I will do this all day.
Pretty sure Plasma Cutter's in Dead Space.
I need to play Dead Space.
I really want to play a remake.
I I own it. I want to play that thing.
Okay.
Why am I not?
The thing where you shared Steam library.
We should. Why am I not able to? Okay, there we go. Let's see, what can Why wouldn't it let me? Okay, I consider that a game error. That's not me. No, we're going back. That is a game error. I wouldn't let me do the thing. I'm gonna say fuck the game. I tried! Don't blame me, chat. I tried my best. Alright? It wouldn't let me. I was there. I was doing the things.
Helm, bring us out
I
of
was
warp.
doing the
Dropping
things.
impulse.
I
Ionic
was doing the
interference surging,
things.
Captain.
Shield integrity holding. We can take it.
We are at the correct coordinates to meet the shuttle.
Commander Rydek, find us.
It may be needed in order. Exactly.
Aye, Captain.
Someone needed to
noise.
order me to
Filter out
be able to
environmental
do that
signals.
thing.
I can manually tune what's left for Federation signal types.
Yeah, I was definitely clearly.
I've
like,
located the
I'm,
shuttle.
I'm trying
On
to be
screen.
kind to this game because I know there's some glitches that
Shuttle to
are
Resolute.
existent in it.
Shuttle
and
to Resolute.
It's one of those things
Debris
where it's
field.
like
Lost maneuvering.
one of the difficult things when we talk about the video game industry is like how often like
Losing.
video game companies
I can't
force
get it
video
any
games
clearer.
out early because they want to make profit.
Won't get a transporter
and
lock.
it's like the discussion always.
That's not an issue with the developers. That's always an issue with the publisher and with the higher ups. And a lot of times
Exactly.
that's what gets missed.
I would actually recommend. There's a. I actually just did an interview with them with Who Hunts the Whale by Laura Kate Dale and her partner. I'm blanking on her partner's name, so apologies to her partner. But I just did an interview with both of them. And it's a really good book about like how video game developers are like trying to make something artistic and meaningful and deep with the game that they're making, but then how they're always sort of subverted by like publishers who are trying to be like, oh, you need to get this out at this point. It's like, well, if we actually had like 6 more months, we could actually really refine this and make this really thoughtful. And so it's like, if a video game, I'm always more forgiving of a video game if it has like technical difficulties, not for the developer's sake, because like fuck the developers. The reason that the game has technical difficulties is because like developers are trying to get out because they think like, oh, we need to make profit this quarter. But I think it's like, I want to look at like what were the developers trying to say and what were they trying to do with this sequence, and like understand that like the issues that the game is not working in the way that I think the developers would want it to is not due to what the developers are trying to say or what the game is trying to say, but because of higher ups trying to make more profit and get a game out on time. Is usually
It's just not happening.
Yeah.
Power up the tractor beam.
So I'm
We'll
like,
pull them
I'm always
directly
like
into
trying
the
to
docking
like
bay.
understand that like debate of like trying to understand what the difference between the writing of a sequence and like the
Diaz,
intention of a sequence.
you good to
versus,
run the
like,
tractor emitter?
It's technically
Yes, sir.
A lot of the people who are working on the art don't want it to
You
come
sure?
out like that. They're forced to dump it out after they've
I'm
been
sure.
put into crunch for months.
Exactly.
So I try not to get too mad.
Come on, Diaz.
Think about. Oh wait, no, I can't talk about that.
First thing,
Fair enough.
lock onto the shuttle and stabilize the
I
rotation.
was talking about a game where I talked to the developer and then I was like, I can't legally say that I've heard these things.
Believe me, I know that feeling. As someone who played the recent Tron Identity game, what I will say, if all of you should, if you haven't played it yet, everyone who's in this chat, if you haven't played it yet, go and play the game Tron Identity by Mike Bithell. It is very good, and just be aware that the creator of that game, who I may tweet at sometimes, is all I will say. Be aware that he has opinions on things, and that game may be reflective of those opinions, and he may actually have some really thoughtful and deep thoughts.
He may have watched my video on Tron. my video on Tron where I directly say some things about cops and
I don't know what you could possibly be talking about, but everyone should play the game Tron Identity. That's about all I should say. Anyways, let me save this shuttle. Read between the lines. Anyways,
Destiny 2 is cool. Anyway.
Yeah. All right, let me try and do this without like seeing what the game's gonna fucking do. There we are. Let me try this one now. Yeah, the game one. I think they optimized for me to do this in a way that easiest. There we go.
That's gonna take out the shuttle. There's the bridge. There's a large piece of debris headed for the shuttle. The tractor beam can't handle it.
Can our shields take it?
I believe so.
Commander Ryder, plot an intercept course.
On it.
All right. Let's see. I love this actually. I really like this game is about so far having played this so far.
Here we go.
It
Maneuvering
feels
thrusters
like
bearing
the
53
idea of
Mark
this game
17,
is like
200
discuss
meters
the
on
like
an intercept
interaction
course.
of the upper
Maneuvering.
decks, and also like have like conflict in the upper decks, but like discuss like the upper decks and its effect on the lower decks. It's actually really interesting. I really love that.
Someone's working hard on the bridge.
Someone's working hard on the bridge. Yeah, this feels like a really interesting discussion about how like those at the top like actually.
It's saying something about class dynamics.
Yeah. I really like this. I really like this game.
And interweaving that with clear like aspects of bigotry and perspective, and it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's
we'll see how the game
saying
lands
things.
it. See how the game lands it.
Yeah.
So far, I'm really interested in this.
We got the shuttlecraft on board.
Good job.
All I'm saying is I think we can write an interesting thing about this.
All I'm saying is we could do a video essay about it. I don't know. Yeah. I get you. I love it. It's Mr. Spock. Oh, what a shock.
Ambassador Spock.
I am shocked that I can speak to Spock, as it were, to use some alliteration.
The captain will be right down to meet you, sir.
In that case,
Well, have a good night. Where's my jetpack? It's lovely to have you here.
Have a good night. True, I also would be as awkward as Boimler if I met Spock.
Legitimately, though.
I think I'd be fine if it was Leonard Nimoy, but if it was Spock, like actually Spock,
Leonard Nimoy,
I would be
Leonard
like,
Nimoy is legitimately one of my heroes in like real life, like as a real life hero. So I actually think I might like freak out more if I met Leonard Nimoy.
I don't freak out about real people. I feel like I would have a larger reaction if it was an alien person.
To be fair, it is like, oh look, it's an alien.
I get excited about it, and I definitely like geek out about it after the fact, but I'm usually pretty calm when I'm interacting with the person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. I'm gonna quick go pee. You have control
Go
of the
ahead.
stream for 2 seconds. I just need to pee real quick.
Hi, chat. I'm in charge now. Oh. Sorry, I'm like sleepy. It's not literally class, but it is exploring class dynamics. It's exploring hierarchical dynamics, let's say.
No, lower decks is set at the same time as after. It's like during the period of time when number 1 is in charge of the USS Titan. It's kind of in the Picard era-ish. Or somewhere in between TNG and Picard. Yeah, but it's important to understand when I say class, I don't mean class as in literally and exclusively money. We're not doing class reductionism. I mean class as in... it's fine. The broader hierarchical concept as it relates to... anyway. It's fine. Not class adjacent, just using class as a broader term than most people would generally use it as. Oh, I know I'd be an engineer. I'm a fucking computer scientist. Put me in Star Trek. I'm a holodeck designer. I'm a... Esri Dax is good, actually. People shouldn't shit on Esri Dax, IMO. I know Jessie agrees with me, so I'm right. Esri Dax does deserve more screen time. If having Esri Dax means I didn't get to have any more Jadzia, does that suck? Yes. But Esri as a character is good. I do hate why Jadzia isn't in the show after a certain point. Sexism. It's sexism, that's why.
All right. I just got hit with like
fatigue.
Yeah. So I think we've been streaming for what, like 3 hours at this point?
We've been going for a while.
Yeah. I think I might finish off right now, if that's okay with everybody.
Fine by me.
So everybody, are you all right if I finish off the stream? I know someone's talking about Esri, which made me very, very excited because I will talk about Esri Dax to the end of the world. But I think I might actually head off for a little bit. So everybody, I love you all. I'm going to finish off here, and I send you all love and adore you all. Mwah. Oh my God, I would write Captain Esri Dax to the end of this earth.
Yes.
I would write
Captain Esri Dax.
I would write her to the end of the earth. Anyways, I love you all. I'm going to finish off the stream. You all are amazing. before I finish off, please, if you can, tomorrow I have a video coming out that I am really, really proud of. It is the part 2 to the part 1 that I released last Friday. It is. I'm gonna be frank. Let me just be real for a minute. This video means a lot to me for people to watch. For numerous reasons, not just the last couple weeks. But the last couple weeks have really kind of sucked. Personally. That I won't go into too much detail on, but this video will kind of talk about that to a degree. We'll also talk about stuff that is really meaningful to me personally. And if you can give it a watch and also share it, it would really mean a lot to me because it has been stressful and shitty to talk about a lot of things that this has been talking about. And so I'll just leave it there. And if you can watch the video tomorrow, it will mean a lot. And I'll just leave it there. I love you all. And thank you so much. And I'll leave it there.
Yeah, please watch that video. It's really good. Jessie did a lot of work on it, like emotional work and things. And I just, yeah, watch it. Support it, please. Leave a nice comment, because
yeah, I'll be frank, I kind of need the nice comments at the moment. Love you all and adore you all. I'm gonna end the stream, and you're amazing. Well, Marina, thank you so much for welcome to the community. You're a lovely, amazing person. I'm so glad to have met you and for you to be here, and I adore you. Well, and thank you, Moonflower Gal. I adore you all. All right, I'm going to wrap out the stream, and I wish you all well, my friend. My friends, I should say. All right.